we have given to the participants. The participants would first be beginning with the opening statement. The opening statement would first be given by the victim's counsel for 7 minutes. Thereafter, by the ICC prosecutor for 5 minutes and defense counsel for 5 minutes. Thereafter, the prosecution witness 1 would be coming to the podium for chief examination for 6 minutes, followed up by the cross-examination, first by the victim's counsel and then by the defense counsel. The same procedure will be followed for prosecution witness 2. Thereafter, victim's witness 1 would be coming to the podium. First, for the chief examination for 6 minutes. Thereafter, for the cross-examination, which would be first done by the ICC prosecutor for 4 minutes and then by the victim's counsel for 4 minutes. The same procedure would be followed for victim witness 2. Thereafter, defense witness 1 would be approaching the podium, first for the chief for 6 minutes, thereafter followed by the cross-examination, first by the ICC prosecutor for 7 minutes and then by the victim's counsel for 7 minutes. To sum up their arguments, for the closing statement, the teams will get first, the ICC prosecutor will get 8 minutes, the victim's counsel will get 5 minutes, and then the defense counsel will get 8 minutes.
Cross-examination, the teams are supposed to cross-examine. They are supposed to use the answers in the closing and not make an argument during the process of cross. It has been seen that they make a point or try to make a point there and then. Please discourage that, and they, in fact, if they do that, they keep losing the time out. Request is please keep to the time. And lastly, sir, there is a category which is question and answers used during the cross-examination to be used in the final arguments. That has 1/4 the marks. Please, that is one of the most important sections for this moot court. Good luck to the judges, good luck to the teams. Over to you.
All rise. With the permission of the Excellencies, you all may sit now. A very good afternoon to one and all present over here. I welcome you all to the 9th SK PURI Memorial International Moot Court Competition Justify 25. Presiding over this courtroom today are their Excellencies Mr. Rakesh Tiku Sir, Mr. Akshay Makhija Sir, Mr. Uttam Dutt Sir, Professor Dr. Narendra Singh Sir. Before we begin with our formal proceeding, I would like to say a very, very congratulations to all the participants for making it to the finals. And before we begin with our proceedings, there are few announcements for all the participants to take note of. No electronic devices are permitted within the courtroom. You are asked to please keep your phones on silent so it does not disturb the formal proceeding. No participant is allowed to disclose their personal identities or institutional name as outlined in the anonymity section of the rule book. With the permission of the Excellencies, the counsel for the victim may now begin with their opening statement.
The council seeks permission to address the bench collectively as Your Honor. Much obliged. Your Honor, may it please the Honorable Chamber. The council appearing on behalf of the humanitarian outreach group as well as the victims and the survivors of the Starship and the Black Hole incident would like to state that it is not the fog of war, but rather the lives that were claimed by boarding the Starship vessel was occurred by a calculated cruelty that was directed by one command as well as concealment behind corporate powers. If I may place reliance on the preliminary submissions of the victims standing in this present instance. Much obliged, Your Honor. In the present instance, we would like to substantiate our stand in accordance with Article 68, Clause 3 of the Rome Statute, which mentions where personal interest of a victim is affected, the court shall permit their views and various other concerns with regards to what the victims have faced. This can be placed with reliance of the Moot Compromise, which clearly mentions that 75 refugees were on board the Starship sailing from Revendale to Utopia, where they were intercepted on the 5th of January 2024. In this present instance, CFC has boarded the ship and made sure that almost all of the victims suffer torture, inhuman cruelty, as well as various other inhuman treatment which will be substantiated further in our cross. We would also like to place reliance on rule number 81 of the Rules and Procedures of the Rome Statute, which clearly states that in order of participation to be permitted by the chamber must be satisfied that the applicant in the present instance is a victim concerning within the meaning of Regulation 85. And as stated, according to the facts of the present instance, there were 75 refugees on board the Starship. Secondly, we would also like to place reliance on Rule 85A as well as B of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, which lays down who can be a victim in the present instance. The victim, firstly, can be a natural person, which is represented by the survivors. Secondly, the organization on board the ship can also be made a party to the present instance. In this particular instance, it is the humanitarian outreach group, thereby fulfilling both the requirements. We would also like to place reliance on the case of Prosecution versus Katanga, which mention that institutions whose property and staff have suffered harm due to the activities that are dedicated, and if I may turn the bench's attention to this specific word, humanitarian missions on charitable purpose, which is exactly what the humanitarian outreach group was doing in this particular instance. Secondly, the victims have personal interest in this particular instance, and I may substantiate using 3 limbs, where they will be affected due to the determination of legal characterization, where we will like to challenge before this honorable court under Regulation 55, which allows the chamber to recharacterize these crimes as war crimes. Secondly, the establishment of reparations, and thirdly, the participation in sentencing. If I may proceed with the recharacterization of crimes as war crimes under Article 8, which talks about war crimes. This is pursuant to Regulation 55. The regulation reads, the chamber may change the legal characterization of any crime in accordance to the fact established, provided that it does not change the facts and circumstances described. And we will be establishing the same through our chief and our cross. Under Article 8, there is a mention of willful killing, inhuman treatment and torture, attack against humanitarian missions, and fourth, the use of prohibited weapons. To substantiate the same, we will be calling upon 2 witnesses, the first witness being Mr. Chen, who is the executive defense agent of Revendale, who has a background in ammunition. The second witness that we would like to call upon is the survivor, who in this case was on board the Starship incident and will mention what happened on the 5th of Jan. If the court is satisfied with the preliminary submissions, may I please move on with the charges that are framed? Much obliged. In the present instance, we would like to raise the legal issue and the question of laws, which will be mentioned as 3 charges in this particular incident, whether the acts committed on board of the Starship as well as the Black Hall detainees amounts to war crimes against humanity, Article 7(1)(e), which is imprisonment, and 2, which is Article 7(1) Clause F, which is torture. The second charge would be whether the chamber may, under Regulation 55, recharacterize these crimes as war crimes under Article 8, Clause 2, Clause A, Clause 1, which is 1, willful killing, 2, inhuman treatment, 3, attack on humanitarian missions, and the existence of armed conflict between Utopia and Revendale. Indeed, Your Honor.
Is there such a term in the Rome Statute?
Indeed.
I thought these are 2 separate issues, war crimes and crimes against humanity.
Indeed, Your Honor. We would like the chamber to recharacterize the crimes against humanity into war crimes, which is Article 8, which will be shifting from Article 7 to Article 8. If the bench is satisfied with the answer, may I move on with the last issue? Much obliged. The last issue would be whether Ms. Jean Grey has individual as well as superior responsibility under Article 25, and superior responsibility being under Article 28. With that, I would like to close with my opening arguments. If the bench is satisfied with the same, much obliged, Your Honor.
The counsel for prosecution may now begin with their opening statement.
Counsel for prosecution seeks permission to approach the witness. Counsel seeks permission to address the bench as Your Honor. This is Counsel 1 for prosecution, and I will be doing opening statement and examination in chief, and my co-counsel will do cross-examination and will present Closing statement. Counsel seeks permission to proceed further with opening statement of prosecution. We are living in a world governed by laws and rules which are there to protect victims and punish perpetrators. In a similar idea, we have the Rome Statute, and it protects the world from being a place or a group of rogue state, which were working at their whims and fancies. It defines crime and also provides for the establishment of International Criminal Court. Its function is to do or to deliver a fair trial and punish those who commit any international crime. The statute provides for ICC's jurisdiction over the most serious crime of concern to the international community as whole, that is genocide, crime against humanity, war crimes, and crime of aggression. The case concerned a deliberate attack on humanitarian vessel ship on 5th of January 2024, an act that turned a sea of refuge into a sea of death. The officer of prosecution has extensively investigated in the incident of 5th January 2024. And throughout the trial, we will be dealing with the following issues. The first, whether Jean Grey, the accused, is liable under Article 7 of Rome Statute or not. Second, whether the accused is individually criminally liable under Article 25(3)(a) of Rome Statute. Third, whether the act constitutes crime against humanity under Articles 7(1)(e), that is for imprisonment, and 7(1)(f), that is for torture. And the fourth issue that we will be dealing with is whether chamber should recharacterize the charges under Regulation 55(2) of ICC. And at fifth, we will be dealing with whether the defense of self-defense under Article 51 of UN Charter is maintainable or not. Through the trial, we will establish how the accused is liable for a crime against humanity under Article 7 of Rome Statute, for which we will establish that how it was directed against civilian population. For that, we will also establish that it was widespread or systematic. It was pursuant to state or organizational policy. And at last, the accused has a knowledge of the attack. In furtherance of the trial, by establishing the fact the accused has entire control over the attack, the prosecution will prove that the accused is liable for individual criminal liability under Article 25(3)(a). Accused one was in direct correspondence with state official, explicitly discussing keeping operations like super low key and securing congratulations for handling the recent situation. The liability of deprivation of physical liberty and crime against humanity of torture under Article 7(1)(e) and Article 7(1)(f) of Rome Statute, respectively, will be proved by the incident of how mercenaries has looted the humanitarian aid supplies and the treatment with refugees at Black Hall. Prosecution will establish how the incident did not fall under the ambit of recharacterization of charges from Article 7 to Article 8 under Regulation 55, as it challenges the confirmed charged by pre-trial chamber outside of the specific procedure. And it also goes inconsistent with Para 4 and Para 5 of Article 61 of Rome Statute. Before resting the case, the prosecution will prove that the attack was neither necessary nor proportionate, which is a required condition under Article 51 of UN Charter. This is it.
If it may please, the counsel seeks permission to address the bench collectively as your lordships. Much obliged, your lordships. Your lordships, the counsel appears as speaker 1 for the defense on behalf of Ms. Jean Grey, the Chief Executive Officer of Cobalt Figment Corporation, that the Council will hereinafter be referring to as CFC. Your Lordship, it is an honor to address the distinguished chamber of International Criminal Court and to present the defense case establishing that the defendant bears no criminal responsibility for the offences alleged against her. If Your Lordship are well versed with the facts of the case, the Council, due to brevity of time, seeks permission to proceed with the issues that have been raised by the prosecution and victim. Much obliged, Your Lordships. Your Lordship, the prosecution accuses the defendant of crime against humanity under Article 7(1)(e) and 7(1)(f) of the Rome Statute, and the victim seeks to recharacterize the charges into war crime of willful killing under Article 8(2)(a)(1) through Regulation 55. Your Lordship, the defense will demonstrate that these allegations are factually incorrect, legally unsustainable, and unsupported by credible evidences or even the established principles of international criminal law. Your Lordship, the defense respectfully submits that the Starship operation was a lawful and proportionate response to the imminent security risk, and it was not a crime against humanity or a war crime, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, on the allegation of crime against humanity, the defense will establish that the alleged act fails to satisfy the threshold of widespread and systematic attack against a civilian population, which is the sole requirement under Article 7(1) of the Rome Statute, Your Lordship. Further, Your Lordship, the defendant lacked any knowledge, intent, or direct participation into any alleged mistreatment. These decisions were collectively taken, Your Lordship. The actions complained were executed under the lawful state authority, Your Lordship, in furtherance of national security objectives, Your Lordship, and was not an act of aggression. Further, Your Lordship, since the victim have posed recharacterization of the charges, the Council on behalf of the defense would like to contend before this honorable chamber that the prosecution's attempt to recharacterize the charges mid-trial and to include war crime under Article 8(2)(a)(1) is procedurally impermissible and is contrary to Article 67 Clause 1 of the Rome Statute, which guarantees the right to notice and adequate time for defense preparation. If Your Lordship may be kind enough to refer to page number 9 of the Moot proposition, Your Lordship, paragraph number 38, the Council may read for Your Lordship's reference. It states, in June 2025, the prosecutor filed before the court the document containing charges leveled against the accused for acts committed on January 5, 2024. Your Lordship, the act that was committed on January 5, 2024 was the Starship attack, and my learned friend has in their opening argument stated that we want to include Black Hall as an issue as well, Your Lordship. On 5th of January 2024, this Black Hall incident did not occur, and thereby the entire thing is exceeding the facts and circumstances of the case, which finally prejudices the right to fair trial of the defendant, Your Lordship. Moving forward, Your Lordship, on the charge of willful killing under Article 8(2)(a)(1), the Defence Counsel will establish that the alleged persons were not protected persons within the meaning of Geneva Convention, Your Lordship. The defendant lacked any knowledge of any protected status of these people who were on board the Starship, Your Lordship. Also, there exists no causal nexus between the defendant's action and the alleged death that have been caused. Your Lordship, the defendant would also like to take the defense of Article 33, Your Lordship. Article 33 states that pursuant to any lawful superior order, it is an exception wherein the defendant could be excused, Your Lordship. The defendant acted in pursuance to a superior order which was issued directly by the government of Utopia, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, in order to substantiate the case, the defense will be presenting two witnesses.
Excuse me.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Now, is the defense of superior orders a
Yes,
valid
Lord.
defense under humanitarian law?
Indeed, Your Lordship. If I may refer to Article 33 of the Rome Statute, Your Lordship, it states that in general, there have been three exceptions that have been made out wherein the defendant could be excused from liability, Your Lordship. The three defenses are if the order was lawful, if it was given directly, if there is an establishment of a subordinate and superior relationship. In those cases, the defendant could not be held liable for the acts committed in furtherance of such a superior order, Your Lordship.
But even while carrying out superior orders,
Indeed, Your Lordship.
there is a responsibility on the individual
Indeed, Your
to
Lordship.
respect humanitarian law.
Indeed, Your
He
Lordship.
cannot undertake any acts which are prohibited under the laws of war, or which amount to a war crime.
Your Lordship, if Your Lordship may be kind enough to refer to page number 7 of the Moot proposition, Your Lordship, the undisputed fact states that the people who were sailing through the waters were, if Your Lordship may permit 1 minute more, Your Lordship, it was stated that they belonged to Emerald Dome militia and were trained armed groups from Rivendell seeking refuge. Your Lordship, these people were trained armed refugees and were seeking refuge within the territory of Utopia, Your Lordship, in order to protect the national security of the nation, for which the government of Utopia contracted CFC. It was the utmost responsibility of this corporation to act in pursuance of this superior order, Your Lordship. If Your Lordship may kindly give 30 seconds to just summarize. At the conclusion of this trial, Your Lordship, the defense will demonstrate both through law and evidence that the defendant must not be held liable for any of the acts that are alleged against her. At the conclusion, the defense will respectfully urge this honorable court to find that the defendant's actions were lawful, were justified, and were devoid of any criminal intent, and accordingly acquit her of all the charges. May it please the honorable chamber, the council would like to rest the opening. Much obliged, Your Lordship.
The counsel for prosecution may now begin with the chief examination of the prosecution witness 1.
For oath, repeat after me. I solemnly declare that I will tell the truth,
I solemnly declare that
I will tell the truth,
I will tell the truth,
whole truth,
whole truth,
and only truth.
and only truth.
Counsel seeks permission to proceed with the examination in chief. Please specify your name, nationality, and occupation.
I am Lawrence Snyder. I am from Utopia. I am 37 years old. I was the first responder of National Police Force of Utopia and also a part of domestic investigations conducted by Utopia in the immediate aftermath of the events that took place on 5th January 2024 on Starship.
Who were you communicating with in the CFC?
I was communicating with Miss Jean Grey.
Can you briefly explain the events of the Starship?
Earlier that afternoon, I received a communication from the government officials of Utopia that a ship has been sighted near our shores, and the movement of the ship was described as suspicious. After some time, there was some intelligence report that also provided us with the intelligence that the movement of the ship was suspicious, and there was a strong possibility that the ship was carrying some armed individuals. I was very clear with my orders that I have to work with CFC to ensure the situation was controlled. I reached out to CFC's main contact, that was Ms. Jean Grey. From then on, she assumed the control.
What information was contained in the initial intelligence brief?
Can you please repeat?
What information was contained in the initial intelligence brief?
It was contained that the ship's movement was described as suspicious, and there was a strong possibility that it was carrying armed individuals.
Okay, can you also describe how the situation was handled by the accused?
The situation was handled by the accused in a very reckless, negligent manner, and in stark contrast to what we claim to uphold. We have given instructions to Ms. Jean Grey that you have to follow the standard military protocols and the rules and regulations that our department had laid out.
Briefly explain how the investigation was conducted and what was the finding of the same.
Our investigations was based on two main sources, that is the bodies of dead and the testimony of the few who survived.
Okay, can you comment on the findings of the autopsy report?
The findings of the autopsy report that were conducted on the dead bodies were very devastating. It gave a very evidence of the use of devastating and lethal weapons. For example, the use of expandable dum-dum bullets, and some plastic pins were found lodged deep inside the body of the people who died.
What were the nature of mercenaries employed there on Starship?
The nature of mercenaries, the operatives, the 20 operatives and the 2 vessels that were deployed by the accused to intercept the ship, they were highly trained militants, combatants that are able to take control of a situation in a very precise manner.
Your Honor, that's it from the prosecution side in chief.
The counsel for victim may now begin with the cross-examination of the prosecution witness 1.
The counsel is permitted The counsel is speaker 1 from the side of the victims and would seek permission to proceed with the cross-examination. Much obliged, Your Honor. In your chief examination, you stated that you got information that the ship was carrying some armed individuals. So there was no guarantee that all of the individuals were armed. Am I right?
There was a strong possibility, the intelligence report we received was, there was a strong possibility that the ship carried armed individuals.
Thank you. Was this information cross-checked or was any other procedure followed to confirm the said information?
The government officials tried to maintain contact with the ship, but they were unable to contact the ship.
So there was no confirmation on what was the identity of the people in the starship.
My orders were to transfer the information and to work with CFC, and I did my part.
All right. In your witness statement under para 2, you've stated that once you got the information of armed individuals, it made you more cautious. Why is that?
It was a cautious situation because of the situation that was a ship was approaching us.
Could I suggest that it is because of the conflict which was prevalent between the two countries that has made you cautious, yes or no?
No, it was a general situation that needs to be controlled and intercepted.
All right. What was the situation between the two countries at that present scenario?
I am not in a position to comment on that.
You are part of the police force, so you are aware of the defense of the country, am I right?
I am aware of the internal defense of the country.
Indeed. So shouldn't you also have intel on what relations your country is keeping with other countries for the purpose of defense, if I may say?
Again, I am in not that position to comment on this.
All right. In your witness statement, you stated that the autopsy reports were disturbing. Why is that?
Because it revealed that very devastating and lethal weaponry was used by the accused to combat the situation.
All right. And this said lethal weaponry is against law. Am I right?
I am not aware of that fact.
As the defense of a country and under humanitarian law, are you not aware of what weapons are permitted to be used and not permitted to be used?
No, I am not aware of that.
You are not aware of the same. All right. What are these advanced weaponries that you have stated in your witness testimony?
These were the expandable dum-dum bullets, and some plastic pins were lodged deep inside the body.
Do you know the implications on the use of these weaponry?
Yes, these kind of weapons can cause very injuries, can cause multi-organ failure, and can even cause death of the person on whom they are used.
All right. So may I suggest that such a weaponry use may cause a sense of torture to the victims that are being subjected to the same?
It can cause substantial death to the victim on which they are used.
All right. Was the standard military procedure followed in that present scenario?
It was not followed. The handling of the situation was very reckless, negligent, and in stark contrast to what we told her.
So in that present scenario, CFC, in the standard procedure to go, intercept, aid, none of these procedures were followed.
The way we said was not followed.
All right. What were the domestic reports that you have mentioned in your witness statement?
Domestic reports were the different kinds of news reports that we had, also autopsy reports.
Do you have you presented the autopsy report before this honorable court?
I don't have. I'm just telling what inference I made from the autopsy report.
Inference of your domestic autopsy reports, am I right?
Yeah.
All right. Have you seen the autopsy report which was made by the Revendell government?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Have you analyzed the same?
Yeah.
Can you tell me your inferences from that report?
In that, it was also mentioned that the accused has used very devastating weaponry that is, again, not to be used in normal course of actions.
Your Honor, through this witness, we would like to suggest that there is a use of weaponry which causes serious implications on the victims. Further, there has been no, we would also like to establish through this witness that there was no procedural, there was procedural lapses in the procedure which was followed. No further questions, Your Honor. If Your Honors may permit, we would like to close the cross-examination. Much obliged.
The counsel for defense may now begin with the cross-examination of the prosecution witness 1.
The counsel seeks permission to begin with cross-examination of PW1. Much obliged, your lordships. So, witness, do you work for CFC or the government of Utopia?
I work for the government of Utopia.
Okay. And did the government ordered you to coordinate with CFC, yes or no?
Yes.
And was your task, did your task also include to ensure that the standard military protocols were followed?
No, my task was not to ensure that standard military protocols were followed. My task was to ensure that I give all the information to the accused. The accused assumed the control after that.
Okay. And did the defendant instruct her team to proceed with the standard military protocols that were laid by your department?
Can you please repeat your question?
Did the defendant proceed and directed her team?
Defendant, you are?
Defendant.
Okay.
I would reframe my question. Did Miss Jean Grey directed her team to proceed with the standard military protocols that were laid by your own department? Yes or no?
I am not aware of
Yes
that.
or no, witness?
No.
Point to be noted, your lordships. And did you do anything to ensure whether the standard military protocols were followed or not?
It was not part of my job. I just told you.
Okay. And did you receive any advisory stating that there is a strong possibility that the ship was carrying armed individuals?
Yes, I got intelligence report from.
Point to be noted, your lordship. And did you yourself witness the incident?
No, I did not witness that.
And you have referred to the autopsy reports.
Yeah.
May I know who has prepared these autopsy reports, being the first responder and the first person to investigate the incident?
The autopsy report is prepared by the authorities that were present there who were mandated to do so.
Okay, so was it government of Utopia or government of Rivendell?
It was government of Utopia.
And did you find any evidence on the ship which could directly link the evidence or the alleged acts to the defendant?
The evidences which I found, I have already told that there was very little physical or evidence that were found on the ship, but the autopsy reports revealed the use of advanced weaponry.
And may I know on what two major sources you are relying for your testimony?
That is the bodies of dead and the testimony of the few who survived.
And at the same moment you have stated that the victims were not in a position to testify, am I right? Yes or no?
No.
Point to be noted, your lordship. So you yourself have described that the 20 men who were employed, they were highly trained specialists, am I right?
Yes.
So you were happy with the fact that they would manage the situation well? Yes or no?
I was not in the position to comment on this because the only role which I have to do was to provide the information to CFC.
If your lordship may permit, the council would like to approach the witness in order to show one annexure and to whether the witness could acknowledge that annexure or not, if your lordship may permit. Much obliged, your lordship. You acknowledge this annexure?
Yeah.
So since you have acknowledged the annexure, if your lordship may also refer to annexure number 4 on page number 25. Are you aware of this report being prepared by CIMR?
Yeah.
And do you know who has prepared this report?
This report is prepared by government of Rivendell. It was under the government of Rivendell.
Point to be noted, your lordship. The report has been prepared by the government of Rivendell, which is a party to the dispute, to the present dispute, and thus cannot be relied upon. With this, the council would like to, no further questions, your lordship. The council would like to raise the cross-examination of PW1. Much obliged, your lordships.
The counsel for prosecution may now begin with the chief examination of the prosecution witness
2. For oath, repeat after me. I solemnly declare that I will tell the truth, whole truth, and only truth. So God help me. Kindly tell the court about your name, nationality, and occupation.
I am Amanda Smith, a 35-year-old American citizen, and I am I am Amilda Smith, a 35-year-old American citizen, and I am a legal consultant to the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of Utopia.
Okay. Can you comment on Jean Grey's nature?
The accused, Ms. Jean Grey, was a fierce nationalist who aligned herself with the government's policy of reclaiming the lost land. She expressed enthusiasm for the expansionist policies of Utopia.
Okay. Since when you know the accused?
I have known the accused for more than 7 years now.
So can you tell the court about her working style?
The accused, to repeat, expressed nationalist tendencies which are very toxic in nature, and she used this nationalism of her to further the government's aim of reclaiming the so-called lost land.
What make you make such harsh remarks against her?
There are 3 instances that I would like to particularly point out for making such remarks. Number 1, the accused expropriated the refugees' properties, and this action of hers was paraded before the government to create an impression of goodwill. Number 2, her rise within the CFC has been found on unforgiving tactics, wherein she used unfair means to rise on the top. And number 3, she used corporate funds to procure advanced and destructive weapons which were capable of causing widespread destruction and casualties.
As consultant to Utopia, what opinion did you render to the government, and were your opinion were taken into account or not?
I rendered opinion such as there was a spread of nationalist agenda throughout Utopia. I advised the government that such tendencies should be checked. There was evidence of widespread assault. However, the government turned a blind eye to my opinions, and it seemed to me as though a broader agenda of the government was served when such narratives was allowed to flow in the public.
This is it from Council of Prosecution in Chief.
The counsel for victims may now begin with a cross-examination of the prosecution witness.
The council's permission to proceed. Much obliged. If the court may permit, the council seeks permission to proceed with the cross-examination of PW Witness 2. Much obliged. Greetings, Ms. Amelda. My first question is, you stated that she was keen on nationalism. Could we infer that in the name of nationalism, she could take any drastic methods as well?
Could you repeat the last part of your
In the name of nationalism, she could take any drastic methods as well.
She did take drastic steps in this advancement of her fierce nationalism.
Thank you. You also stated that she had access to weaponry for widespread attack.
I do not follow, counsel.
She had access to weaponry which caused the widespread attack. Am I right?
That's correct.
All right. Could you name the machineries or the weaponry which was used?
I am not a defense expert, so I would not comment.
All right. Are you aware of the machinery which was used? You're not aware.
I am not aware since I'm not a defense
All
expert.
right. You are a legal expert. Am I correct?
That's correct.
The use of flechette shells and dum-dum bullets, what are they regarded under humanitarian law?
These are prohibited under the Geneva Convention.
All right.
I'm sorry, these are prohibited under the Hague Convention. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Under humanitarian laws, these are prohibited.
That's
Point
correct.
to be noted, Your Honor. Further, I would also like to, all right, in your legal opinion again, why do you think such weaponry is prohibited?
Because of the widespread nature of impact that they have on the people against whom they are employed.
All right. In your witness statement, you had discussed regarding certain signs of unrest. Could you elaborate more on the situation which was present between Rivendell and Utopia?
The media was entirely censored by the government of Utopia. A certain narrative was built that the citizens of Rivendell, although they spoke the same language as that of the Utopians, were loyal to Rivendell. And it was against this backdrop that this present incident under investigation took place.
All right. So the attack on the Rivendell civilians could have been on this exact prejudice towards them. Am I right?
I would not comment, counsel.
All right. No worries. Were there other attacks against Rivendell immigrants before?
Not that I'm aware of. I would not comment, counsel.
All right. You had advised the ministry regarding the actions of Ms. Jean Grey. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Did the ministry take any steps or listen to your advice?
My duty was merely to give opinions to the Ministry of External Affairs. I cannot comment whether this advice against Ms. Jean Grey was followed or not.
All right. Again, in your legal opinion, what was the situation that led to CFC being appointed in the state of Utopia?
I am a external affairs, I'm a consultant to the Ministry of External Affairs and not the Ministry of Defense, so I would not comment.
But you were prevalent during the negotiations between CFC and the ministry, am I correct?
That's correct, but this was limited to CFC's role as the visa processing facilitator.
Yeah, why was there a need of CFC to perform the said duties?
That is the government's prerogative, I cannot comment.
So
counsel.
as a legal expertise or as a legal counsel, you weren't informed about the needs why this was asked for, but you were asked to give opinions on the same.
I was merely asked to render legal opinion, that's correct, counsel.
Legal opinion on if CFC should be employed or not.
I would not comment on that, counsel.
So what was the legal opinion you were asked to give?
Like stated, I advised the government that there was a flow of nationalist agenda amongst the citizens of Utopia, that the Rivendell, although they spoke the same language, were loyal to Rivendell itself, and hence they should not be allowed to come to Utopia, counsel.
So may I infer that there was a prejudice present against the Rivendell with this exact statement that you've made?
As per the narrative set, yes.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor.
The counsel for defense may now begin with a cross-examination of the prosecution witness. Counsel seeks permission to present. Much obliged.
The council seeks permission to begin with cross-examination of PW2. Much obliged, your lordships. So, Professor, may I know your nationality?
It's USA. I'm a citizen of USA.
And you work for which government?
The government of Utopia.
So, is it right to state that you might not be well aware of what all internal operations are going within CFC?
I'm not entirely aware of the...
Point to be noted, your lordship. And Professor Smith, in your entire 7-year association, did you serve in any operational or financial role?
I'm sorry, I do not follow.
In your entire 7 years of association with Utopia, did you serve in any operational or financial control?
Did I serve?
In any financial or operational capacity?
My role was limited to rendering legal opinion to the government of Utopia.
Point to be noted, your lordship. And when you say that the defendant has used corporate funds for weapon purchases, as a legal consultant, do you have yourself examined any procurement receipt or any purchase order with respect to such weapons?
Yes.
You have.
Yes, that's correct.
And may I know why you have not presented that before the Honorable Chamber?
Because that is beyond my scope. I have examined those financials wherein it was clearly evident that corporate funds were used. However, it is beyond my scope to present the same.
Point to be noted, your lordship. The witness is contradicting their own first question. Further, Professor, you mentioned that profits were funneled into Rivendell. Am I right?
That's correct. Because it was used to create a vicious cycle of obtaining more funds by showing more casualties.
Okay, witness. So, did you perform any forensic accounting or trace of where the money was going?
I only examined the accounts which did show, which made it evident that yes, corporate funds were used to procure weapons.
And you stated that CFC used advanced weapons. So you yourself have examined those weapons or not?
I am not a defense expert, so no, I haven't examined.
Point to be
However,
noted, Your Lordship.
however, in my limited legal knowledge, they are highly destructive.
And you have given a very elaborate description of the defendant. You also stated that she was ruthless and opportunistic. Am I correct?
I only stated what I was asked.
So do you agree that she was ruthless and opportunistic?
Yes, I agree.
As a legal consultant, are you aware that character assessments are inadmissible before this court?
I only stated what I was asked.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. Further, witness, you have linked CFC's actions to unrest in Rivendell. Am I right?
I do not follow.
I'll repeat the question for the witness. You linked CFC's actions to causing unrest in Rivendell. Yes or no?
I do not recall.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. And you have referred that refugee property was being expropriated. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Do you have any document which proves the registry of this land?
I stated in my testimony a few minutes back that they were paraded before the government to create an impression of goodwill. So the accused in question herself voluntarily showed this action of hers to the government.
Your Lordship, the counsel can justify the action since any statement that is given in the deposition of the witness and any relevant document, if not produced, that witness testimony cannot be taken into account, Your Lordship.
That the inference to be taken by the court. Question can be answered, the relevancy part can be seen later.
Indeed, Your Lordship. If Your Lordship may permit, the counsel has one last question to ask the witness. Much obliged, Your Lordships. So, witness, you haven't seen any purchase orders or audited accounts as well as weapon logs. Am I correct?
That's incorrect.
And under your oath, do you have any evidence to directly link the actions, the alleged actions to the defendant?
I was not present when the Starship incident took place, so I cannot comment.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. The everything that the witness has stated is mere hearsay, Your Lordship. With this, the counsel would like to conclude the cross-examination of PW2. Much obliged, Your Lordships.
Your Honours, the witness be excused.
The counsel seeks permission to call upon victim witness number 1, Mr. Chen. Your Honours, if the court may please, may the oath be already taken on record. Much obliged, Your Honour. Kindly state your name and relevance to the court of law.
I am Chen Mingzhi. I am the Executive Defense Agent of the Ministry of Rivendell.
Kindly state your role in the incident of the Starship investigation.
I prepared the medical report on the findings of the Ministry of Rivendell.
If I may approach the witness, your honorable justices. Much obliged. Are you aware of this document?
Yes, ma'am, I prepared this.
If I may turn the bench's attention to page number 25 of the Moot compromise, which is called as annexure number 4, which is the bench on page number 25, Your Honours. The specific report in question is the Central Institute of Medical Research. Kindly elaborate on the same report.
Your Honors, in the medical findings, there are two devastating things that I found. One was the use of expandable bullets. Now these bullets, on impact with the human tissue, they expand rapidly with the internal material causing immense damage. And this does more than incapacitate the target, which is usually it does not provide any military advantage. It just causes unnecessary human suffering. And another point is there was the use of flesh air systems. Now these are sub-munitions which when launched from a higher altitude, they they spread over a large area, approximately 300 into 94, and they cause indiscriminate harm.
If the bench may mark this exhibit as exhibit number 1 on behalf of the victims. If I may turn the bench's attention once more to page number 23, which is annexure number 2, which is the Utopian Network on Independent Reporters, talking about the victim's account and fate of the starship. May I approach the witness, Your Honors? Much obliged.
Do you recognize this document? Yes, ma'am.
Kindly state your findings on the same.
These were the testimonies of the people who were on Starship, and they recount their experiences on Starship about how people were killed and how some people, when they tried to run away, they were hit, they were injured, they were burnt alive.
In your expert opinion, do you find any military justification for the use of these advanced machineries on board the Starship?
Absolutely not. The use of both these ammunitions are prohibited under international law because they cause unnecessary suffering. They do not provide any sort of military advantage, because what you would do normally when you try to incapacitate your target, it's a full metal jacket bullet, but these are expanding inside. They're just causing more and more harm, suffering, pain, and no, there is no justification to use this.
No further questions, Your Honors. The victim is now open for cross.
The counsel for prosecution may now begin with the cross-examination of the victim witness part. The counsel seeks permission to approach the bench.
The counsel seeks permission to begin the cross-examination. Mr. Chen, you are an arms forensic analyst with over 15 years of experience. Is that correct?
Yes.
You must be familiar with the ICC and UN protocols on chain of custody and verification.
Yes.
And you were retained by the victim's legal representative and not the government of Rivendell or the prosecution office. Is that correct?
Yes.
And your laboratory procedures followed standard forensic standards?
Yes.
All right. Are you aware of the purpose of the voyage on that day?
I heard that the purpose of the voyage was, excuse me, the purpose of the voyage was to transport a group of civilians from Rivendell to Utopia.
All right. Mr. Chen, what kind of weapons were being used that day?
These were prohibited weapons. The two findings that we found were, 1, the use of flechette shells, and 2, the use of expanding or dum-dum bullets.
All right. Can you tell through your experience, are these weapons easy to procure?
Absolutely not. Usually these weapons are prohibited, and if you want to procure them, you would need state authorization.
State authority is important. Can you also comment on the fact whether procurement of such weapons can be a part of systematic plan, because it is not easy to procure them?
It could be.
All right. Also, you identified that the fragments were flechette shells.
Yes.
Designed to scatter the steel darts. Is that correct?
Pardon?
Designed to scatter the steel darts. Is
Yes.
that correct? All right. So, you also confirm that such rounds are prohibited for anti-personnel use
Yes.
under the Hague Regulation of
Yes.
1819. All right. In your expert opinion, the weapon type and the firing pattern, are they incompatible with a defensive engagement?
Pardon? Could you repeat?
I'll reframe the question. Do you think that such weapons can be used for a defense?
No, these were intentional. It's not for defense. It is used to cause suffering. These are expandable bullets which when on contact with your skin tissue, they expand. They cause limb-to-limb lacerations. They cut through the tissue, through the fat layer. They cause grievous hurt, suffering.
Absolutely. So if a person would go for defense, they would not use such kind of weapons.
Absolutely not.
They are made to use to create mass destruction. Is that
Yes.
correct? All right. They also indicate intentional targeting of crowded deck of people.
Yes, because fleshed cells were used. And those, when you launch them, they will indiscriminately spread over a large area. They will not discriminate between a combatant or a civilian. It will just go and hit them.
All right. No further questions, Your Honors. Thank you. Thank you, witness.
The counsel for defense may now begin with a cross-examination of the victim witness 1.
Before beginning with the cross-examination, with the permission of your lordship, the council would like to present one of the annexures, your lordship. To your lordships. This same page. The council seeks permission to begin with the cross-examination. Much obliged, your lordships. So, witness, were you present on the date of incident, at the site of incident?
No.
Point to be noted, your lordship. And when did your investigation begin?
My investigations began around the
May you please specify the exact date for the record of the Honorable Court?
We began investigations around the 15th of Jan, but the report was prepared on the 2nd of April 2024.
Point to be noted, your lordship. And when you started your investigation, was there enough evidence to investigate? Yes or no?
Yes.
Point to be noted, your lordship. And you have stated in your deposition that you have a vast background in ammunition process. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, witness. So, can you specify these fleshed cells which were launched and from what weapon these fleshed cells are being launched?
Battle tanks, 150 mm guns from battle tanks.
Okay, and do you know how many types of fleshed cells are there?
Yes, yes.
May you please specify for the court?
Do you mean how many types of fleshed cells there are in general or what were found here?
In general, in ammunition, how many types of fleshed cells are there?
There are several types.
May you please specify the number?
There are several types. They're still being developed.
Point to be noted, your lordship, that questions the credibility of the witness. Further, do you know what area the fleshed cells covers?
Yes, 300 into 94.
Point to be noted, your lordship, that again questions the credibility of the witness. And what amount of energy is released from the normal dum-dum bullets?
It depends on how it is launched and from which altitude it is launched.
And may I know for what government you work?
I work for the Ministry of Rivendell.
Point to be noted, your lordship. And are there any direct evidence on the basis of which you are stating that these weapons were of Cobalt Figment Corporation? Yes or no?
I work
yes
on
or no, witness,
I
the council
work
would
on
like.
the information given to me by my ministry.
So you have no direct evidence to link that these weapons belong to CFC? Yes or no?
My ministry told me it belongs to CFC.
Point to be noted, your lordship, it is just a hearsay evidence that the witness is continuously plunging upon. With this, no further questions, your lordship. The council would like to rest the cross-examination. Much obliged, your lordship.
Your Honours, may I be excused? Your Honours, may I be excused?
The counsel for witness may now begin with a chief examination of the victim witness 2.
The counsel seeks permission to approach the dais. Much obliged.
The counsel for the victim would now like to call upon victim witness number 2. According to Rule 88 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the special measures allows the
survivor to not mention his name to this honorable court. And if I may proceed and make sure that the oath is taken on record, may I proceed with the chief examination? Much obliged, Your Honor. Kindly state your relevance to the court.
Good evening. I was a Starship survivor, the incident that occurred on 5th January 2024.
Kindly state, in the ship, were there any weapons or any other combatants along with you?
There were no combatants on the ship. We were all civilians who boarded the Starship.
Can you state exactly what happened on the 5th of January?
Yes. We all boarded the Starship in hopes of reaching Utopia and reuniting with our friends and family. However, before we could, we saw two vessels approaching us. From these vessels, they were operatives who climbed on board. To protect ourselves, we gripped onto the children who were there to protect every child on board. However, after the combatants approached the ship, they shot at us relentlessly. We suffered for hours and hours on board. These bullets, they flew from the sky. They hurt all of us on board and injured a lot of us. Even after our injuries, we were not provided any aid. We were deprived of basic necessities such as water on the board. This was a grave humiliation that all of us suffered that day.
Could you kindly state what happened once you saw the vessels approaching your ship?
When we saw the vessels approaching our ship, we tried to protect ourselves. We thought that this was a sign of danger, and so we tried to protect ourselves from anyone who might approach the boat.
Could you please describe or mention what you witnessed after the Starship incident?
After the incident that took on board, I was lucky enough to survive. However, unfortunately, the rest of the survivors who were with me were not able to hide like I was, and they were taken to what I heard was Black Hall.
Could you mention what exactly this Black Hall is?
From what I was able to hear, Black Hall was a center that the survivors were taken to.
No further questions, Your Honor. The victim is now open for cross. Much obliged.
Counsel for prosecution may now begin with the cross-examination of the victim witness.
The counsel seeks permission for this. The counsel seeks permission to begin the cross-examination. So, I first want to acknowledge the trauma that you've endured, and I will keep my questions very brief and focused. You were a passenger aboard the Starship on 5th January 2024, correct?
Yes.
Your purpose on that voyage was to flee unrest in Rivendell and not to engage in any combat, is that correct?
Yes, we were all civilians on the board.
So, what were you carrying? What was the material with you?
Just basic necessities, our food, our clothes, medical supplies.
All right. You did not have any weapons with you, correct?
None, no.
All right. Before the attack began, when did you see the weapons approaching towards, the vessels approaching towards you?
It was around evening. We saw two vessels approach us, and after that, it was horrible. We saw shots falling from the sky, injuring all of us. And when the combatants came on board, they indiscriminately humiliated and tortured us for hours on end.
Before I go further into the incident, I would also ask you, you saw that no one fired from your side, is that correct?
Yes.
You were just civilians seeking refuge in Utopia.
Yes.
All right. So you said that there were chaos, there was noise, they were shouting. Could you read or identify any people there who were doing these activities?
The ones who attacked us were uniformed officers, and they were armed with weapons to attack us.
They wore uniforms and they were armed.
Yes.
Could you read any insignia or anything that could identify them?
I remember seeing a CFC logo on one of the officers,
All right.
but that's all I remember.
All right. Did you hear any information before the shots were fired at you?
None. All I remember is the vessels approaching and the shots being fired from the sky on all of
right.
us.
And no communication was made with you? Nothing was established?
Nothing.
Nothing. So they just began firing?
Yes.
All right. I understand that you were traumatized, but
Yes.
could you see people specifically targeting you?
Can you rephrase your question?
Yes. Could you see a pattern, or could you see a specific organization that could have planned the entire attack and then they attacked you?
I did not see any specific pattern. All I remember is all the civilians, all of us on board being attacked relentlessly.
All right. From your point of view, could you see the attackers clearly when they were on their ship?
I did see the uniformed officers.
So it is
who were
possible
on.
that the attackers were also able to see all of you?
They were aware of who they were shooting at once on board.
They were aware of who they were shooting. All right. So they could not have mistaken you for a military vessel. You as in the starship for a military vessel.
They
Because
could-
there were children and women on board.
They were families, we were all civilians on board.
All right. But despite your shouting, the firing continued. Is that correct?
The firing continued for a very long time, even after we all surrendered, even after we all were held at gunpoint.
And after surrendering, you were taken somewhere?
I was lucky to escape.
But the other people were taken somewhere?
The other survivors were taken.
Are you aware of where they were taken?
As I referred the place, I heard the survivors were taken to a place called Black Hall.
All right. And did you or other people on board suffer any torture?
Like I've stated, we suffered for a very long time. Torture included not providing us with basic necessities even when we were wounded, even when we lay on the board.
That's it from my side. Thank you, Your Honors. Thank you, witness.
The counsel for defense may now begin with a cross-examination of the victim witness group.
The counsel seeks permission to begin with cross-examination. Much obliged, Your Lordships. So, witness, answer me in yes or no. Did you first fire the shot, yes or no?
No.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. And did you employ barbed wires, yes or no?
Whatever we did to
Yes or
protect
no,
ourselves.
witness?
We put up barbed wires to protect ourselves.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. And before coming, did you inform the Utopian authorities that such a vessel was coming towards their territory? Yes
The
or no?
HOG organization told us that we as refugees suffering distress would be allowed to reach Utopia.
But there was no information to the Utopian authorities, yes or no?
As a civilian on board, this was what I was informed.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. And since you first fired the shots, before you firing the shots, was there any retaliation from the other side?
I would like to repeat my statement. We did not fire any shots. We just tried to indicate our presence and nothing more.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. The witness is going beyond the deposition that the witness has given. Further, why were you scared when the ship was approaching you?
We were scared because while the ship was approaching us, there were also bullets that were raining from the sky that was injuring all of us civilians on board, and it was injuring a group of people at once. It wasn't targeted, it was widespread, it was hurting all of us on board.
Okay, witness, I'm really sorry to hear that. But could you specify the time when the incident took place?
It was, like I stated, evening, maybe around 9 p.m.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. And do you agree with me that in night it is difficult to see clearly, the visibility is low, yes or no, at night?
I was able to see everything on board clearly.
And when my learned friend questioned you, I would like to repeat that question. that did any of those soldiers who boarded your ship weared any badge or any uniform that directly linked them to CFC? Yes or no?
Yes.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. And you told the court that soldiers were armed from head to toe. Yes or no?
Yes, they were armed.
Were their faces visible to you? Yes or no?
No.
Point to be noted, Your Lordship. And all right, Your Lordship, with this, the council doesn't have any further questions. The council would like to rest.
One suggestion.
Yes, Your Lordship.
The concept of yes or no is not always desirable. In our law, they say, witness was asked by the lawyer, have you stopped beating your wife? What
Yes,
do
Your
we say, yes or no? He is doomed either way. If he says yes, it means he acknowledges.
Definitely, Your
When he
Lordship.
says no, that is still contradict. So therefore, you cannot say compel witness yes or no. You have to
Indeed,
take
Your
it to
Lordship.
the bench.
At the same time, Your Lordship, the witness has been given adequate opportunity to
Never mind,
conclude.
just a guiding factor for you.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Yes or no is not always desirable.
The council notes it to their heart. Much obliged, Your Lordships.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The counsel for defense may now begin with the chief examination of the defense witness. The counsel seeks permission to approach the dais.
The defense witness seeks permission to approach the dais. Much obliged.
Miss Witness, can you state your name, age and occupation?
Greetings to the bench. Yes, Mr. Counsel. My name is Ms. Jan Gray. My age is 67 years and I was the former head of Cobalt Fingman Corporation.
Miss Witness, can you explain your position in CFC and the work CFC does?
I am one of the directors of Cobalt Fingman Corporation. Our corporation provides effective border management tactics to the hostile nations, in the present case, Utopia.
Can you give me details of your role on the day on which the incident happened?
I remember the day of 5th January 2024. I got an unambiguous report that an hostile vessel has been approaching our shores of Utopia. It was in the Utopian waters. I was ordered by the government of Utopia to contain them at all cost. I would like to clarify the meaning of contain them at all cost. Contain them at all cost meant to stop them, to defend the territory of Utopia and nothing more.
Can you state what happened aftermath of the vessels approaching at the shore of Utopia?
At that time, we were informed that the persons on board were militants. But then too, we tried to establish the communication between the vessel and us. But unfortunately, the communication was not established. Furthermore, I would also like to state that I ordered my 20 men, my 20 brave soldiers, to go on board and check the status of the ship. To check the status of the ship. They onboarded. I told them to follow all the protocols which has been laid out by the department. They did so. When they tried to approach the vessel to verify the status of the vessel, I would like to bring this to the notice of the court that they were the one who fired on us. But still, I told them to defend, not to attack, but just to defend and to self-defend. They did so. On that point of time, I had two choices. The very first was to let my 20 men in there at the sea and risk their lives, face the criminal sanctions on my corporation and do not follow the Utopian orders. The second one was that to follow the Utopian orders and save the life of my men and to protect the status of Utopia. Any person at that time would have followed the second one.
Okay. Your Lordships, that concludes the chief examination. Thank you. The counsel for prosecution may now begin with the cross-examination of the defense witness part. The counsel seeks permission to approach.
The counsel seeks permission to cross-examine Ms. Jean Gray. Ms. Gray, you were the director of CFC, correct?
I was one of the directors of CFC.
You had operational control of the entire starship, is that correct?
Not exactly. I was not the only one who had the operational control. The authority who had the operational control was the government of Utopia. I was just a licensee.
Yet you were a private contractor, is that correct?
Cobalt Fingman Corporation is one of the private contractors of Utopia.
All right, what was the nature of your contract? Was it contract of service or contract for service?
Miss Council, the nature of our contract was to protect the borders of Utopia.
Absolutely, but the nature of the contract in legal terms, since you were the director, you must be aware of it. Was it contract of service or was it contract for service?
I'm not a legal person.
All right. Despite being the director, all right. Another question to you is, where was the starship first found?
Earlier that afternoon, I was informed
I'm
by the...
just asking about the place, not the entire...
In the Utopian waters approaching the shore of Utopia.
That is a point to be noted because did the Utopian government or the CFC take actions in the Utopian waters?
It is clear from the reports which I have received and from the fact that the ship was approaching the shores of Utopia. The shore was barely visible and henceforth the vessel was under the Utopian waters.
I request the honorable bench to notice that the witness is misleading because the starship was found in international waters and not the Utopian boundary. However, what was the procedure that you established when the ship was sighted in the international waters?
The first thing which we did was to, as I have stated that, we tried to establish the communication, which was not established. The second act which we did was to go and verify the status of the vessel.
How did you do that?
I ordered my 20 men to verify the status of the vessel.
And what did they report back to you?
When they were trying to approach the starship, when the proximity was decreasing, my 20 brave men received the heavy fire.
No. I'm asking what did they report back to you?
They were approaching the vessel.
No, what about the communication? What did they tell you? What happened with the communication?
The communication that there was a fire from the opposite side.
What kind of fire was it?
I'm not currently aware what was the fire, but there was the fire.
Did your subordinates not report you?
They reported me about the fire.
And what was it?
I'm not aware that.
Was the fire directed at your men or was it in the air?
It was directed to my men.
Alright, and how many people suffered at your end? How many people died?
By the God's grace, not much suffering happened to my men.
Not much suffering means there was some suffering?
There was some shots fired on my men.
Some shots or one shot?
There were more than one shot, but there were significant shots.
Again, an inconsistent testimony, Ms. Gray, but however, let us move on. You also talk about giving technical and logistic support to the state, is that correct? CFC acts as a logistic and technical support to the state of Utopia.
I didn't understand your question.
What was the role of CFC?
The role of the CFC was clear, to provide effective border security to the contractors.
And how did you provide border security?
Pardon?
How did you provide border security?
By securing the borders of the nation.
How did you secure the borders of the nation?
It is clear that we secured the borders from the nation.
On the day of the starship, did you provide the men, the operatives, 20 that you said, my 20 operatives, and did you also give them the weapons?
Can you repeat?
Yeah. On the day of the starship event, you said that you employed 20 of your men. Did you also give them the weapons?
I'm not aware about the weapons department.
You are the director, yet you're not aware.
I would like to clarify that I am not the sole director. There are 4 directors.
So there was miscommunication amongst the directors as well? Yes.
I would like to clarify that I am not the sole director. My department under the CFC was licensee department, the communications department. My job was to communicate the orders of the government to the people.
Alright.
But I am not aware about what kind of weapons which were used. I am not an ammunition expert.
Absolutely, Ms. Jean Grey. You communicated. What did you exactly communicate?
To whom?
To the operatives.
In which situation?
In the starship situation, what did you say to your operatives?
To defend and contain them.
Contain means open firing on 24 people who were dead and 47 people who were injured.
I would like to clarify that I have clarified the meaning of contain them at all cost was to stop the ship and to defend the nation,
And
nothing else.
Was it written anywhere to stop and to defend and to contain in such a manner? Was it written?
It is clearly defined in our contractual obligations.
All right. Can you also provide the contractual obligations? Have you provided it before the honorable bench?
The contractual obligations have been not provided because they are confidential in nature.
All right. So what did you do to ascertain that there were no civilians on the starship?
We did 3 acts. The very first, we relied on the reports of the government. Otherwise, we would have faced sanctions. The second, we tried to establish the communication, and I ordered my 20 men to go and verify the status. But in this situation, there was no option left. Any person at that time would have saved the men and defended the nation.
So because there was no option left, you opened fire without ascertaining the nature of the people there who were civilians and killed 24 civilians. All right. How many people did you apologize to after the incident? Or did you provide any aid to the people who suffered?
Even after the incident, since many days I was not aware that, but there were several reports going around.
I'm not asking that question. I'm asking, did you provide any aid to the people who suffered?
I was not
Yes
aware
or
that
no?
they were people.
All right. What were you doing at the black hole that you needed state immunity and cover-ups?
In my knowledge, only the black hole was another facility of Utopia.
But what was so threatening about it that it needed state immunity?
First of all, the state allotted black hole as a screening center. And for the...
Witness, I'll request you to answer my question. What was so threatening that required state immunity? The honorable bench has allowed us to question.
First, I have to clarify the situation at this. The black hole was allotted to as a visa screening center for the other nationalists. So there was the potential risk that any militant would have arrived at the black hole. For that purpose, we required the state immunity.
All right. That's it, Your Honors. Thank you so much. Thank you, witness.
Okay, now let us do the cross-examination first. Yes. Are you doing the cross-examination? Yes. Yes.
The counsel seeks permission to proceed with the cross-examination. Much obliged, Your Honor. In your chief examination, you stated that it was an unambiguous report. Am I right?
You are
Yes
correct.
or no?
You are correct that there
All
were
right.
clear directives.
All right. Do you know what is the definition of unambiguous?
As a normal person, the understanding of unambiguous is clear.
Clear. All right. In your witness statement under para 1, you have clearly stated that it carried potentially hostile forces, even combatants. Does this give you the guarantee that it is only combatants and it is hostile forces?
Miss Counsel, as I have stated that from the reports, from the chronology of the incidents, I can conclude that at that time I believed that they were potentially hostile forces and militants.
Can you elaborate what chronology of events?
The very first was we tried to establish the communication which was not established. I ordered my 20 men to verify the status. Even they started firing on us and deployed the barbed wires.
Agreed. But didn't you receive this information before you started the procedure? So at that point, how did you believe that it was unambiguous?
It was an ambiguous report because the government directed us that it is an unambiguous situation that an unidentified hostile vessel has been approaching. So at that time I believed them.
But there was no guarantee that it is all combatants.
From the reports I received, it was unambiguous and it was clear that they were hostiles.
All right. What procedure did you entail to ensure that or to segregate if there were civilians or combatants?
We approached the starship to verify that thing only. That our 20 men went there and to verify the situation which was not verified, and even we faced fire. Furthermore, I would like to state that
Noted, Your Honor, it is stated by the accused in itself that it is not verified. Proceed.
Furthermore, I would like to state that we are the 4 directors and internal voting happened that afternoon.
So you had made, or if I am correct, CFC had made the decision to proceed with the same.
At that time, we were under the contractual obligation, so we had no other option.
What was the provisions of your contract, may I ask?
As I have stated, that contractual obligations are confidential in nature.
Your Honor, I would like to say that the witness is trying to derail the court, wherein is clearly mentioned on the contractual obligations, which I will mention. Your Honor, okay. Are you aware that you were contracted for refugee screening?
We were contracted for refugee screening too.
So, you had control over the black hole as well for the said refugee screening.
Not only me, but the government.
The government, but CFC had control over this offshore facility. Am I right? Yes.
Continued even in the black hole also. Please read carefully. It is continued that under the utopian listing in the territory black hole, remaining people were taken there.
Your Honor, if I may clarify.
Never mind. Please go ahead. Post-incident conduct also reflect.
Much obliged, Your Honor. Further, under para 3 of your witness statement, you have clearly stated that the decision to board the Starship was not one I took lightly. I took lightly. Does that mean that it was your decision?
As I was the licensee, I was directly communicating to my men. So at that time, I had 2 situations. The very first was to let the men come back, or which was also not possible, to let the men be there and not follow the government orders. And the second was to follow the government orders and save the utopian territory. So I just communicated them.
So you communicated them to enter the Starship. All right. Further, in your witness statement itself, you have stated that Utopia was already at war with Revendell. Do you agree?
We were continuously briefed by the government that Utopia is already at the war with Revendell, and it was our duty to protect Utopia.
Point to be noted, Your Honor. Further, were there any shots fired from the other side, like you mentioned in your chief examination? Yes or no? You can answer with yes or no.
Yes.
All right. Is there any damage to the vessels that you had taken your combatants in that would prove the said firing?
Yes, there might be the damage.
Is there any proof of the same which is presented?
I am not allowed to go beyond my depositions.
All right. Okay. Further, you also stated that you are not aware of the weaponry or the shots which were fired, like the communication. So may I put to you that the communication in itself was ambiguous from your men to you?
There was no ambiguity in the communication. I don't have just knowledge of the weapons because I'm not an ammunition expert.
So before you directed your men to go attack at a vessel which may contain civilians. Apologies, my lord.
You may not like the answer, but that doesn't mean that you are.
Apologies, my lord. What procedure did your men follow? May I know it step by step?
The procedure was laid down by the government. My men followed all the procedures. First, try to communicate. They didn't fire first. These are the few things which are mentioned under the procedure.
Are you aware of the procedure that should be followed under humanitarian law?
There are legal experts and other people to train them.
Since you were the one communicating the said with your men, shouldn't you be aware of the procedure?
I cannot remember several things such as legal, ammunitions and other procedures. I have more tasks to do.
Point to be noted, Your Honor. No further questions, Your Honor.
Question to you. At whose command, direction, order did you order your troops or the 20% to fire at the start?
The witness goes down to the observation. I would like to state that it was the government of Rifendell.
Government of India, government Ethiopia was not there on the vessel when you were tracked at the start. The firing took place, you say, but who directed? On whose order did you order that you fire or use those missiles or the bum-dum gun?
I would like to state that the government was continuously in the radio communication with me, and I was in the radio communication with my men.
They, as per you, they directed you.
Right.
Now, you have mentioned in your statement that the decision to board the Starship was not one I took lightly. That means this was your decision.
The decision to communicate, my lordship.
No, you said here it was not something which you decided lightly. So it was your decision, you are admitting it.
Can I clarify the statement?
Although you have said also that there were 4 directors.
Right.
But for this decision, you are taking responsibility.
Since I was the licensary commander, I was in the licensary department. Only I was the one who was communicating, but all the directors were present in the office at that time. So the decision which I communicate, that was the person I communicate.
No, this is not what your statement indicates.
Can I clarify the situation?
We have your statement.
Can you state your name, age and occupation?
My name is David Harper and I am 49 years old. I am a Utopian national and I am currently a cabinet secretary in the government of Utopia.
Can you state how you knew the defendant and the role of defendant in CFC?
So I am from CFC since 2019 and I am a one of the senior officers in licensing and communication department. So the responsibility of the department was to act as a bridge between the sovereign that we served and the field operatives of the Cobalt Figment Corporation. So the Mrs. Jean Gray was one of the directors of CFC, and she was also the head of licensing and communications department.
Okay. Can you describe the structure of CFC?
So if I have to describe the structure of CFC, it started off with the 4 supreme directors, and each director contained a power, that was the power to vote. So every operational decision in CFC required the collective vote of all the 4 directors. Beneath them, there were several departments, like I was part of the licensing and the communication department, and beneath that were the field operatives of the corporation.
Okay. Can you describe how the defendant acted in the incident of Starship, and what do you know about the Starship incident overall?
So before coming to exactly to the incident, I have to first just want to explain to the court the reference. So CFC was the corporate entity chosen by the government of Utopia, pursuant to a contract to manage the border management security and to also manage the visa application centers created in the offshore region of Utopia. So coming to the attack, on the date of the attack, we got clear information and instruction from the government authorities that there were high probable chances of armed operatives being present on Starship. Now, during those days, the government used to describe us the possible scenario of Rivendell soldiers infiltrating our country in the disguise of refugees. Considering all these factors, we were instructed by the government to intercept the Starship. Once we got the instruction, as is the structural process of CFC, there was a voting system that went through, and all the 4 directors voted yes to the fact that they have to intercept the Starship by, first of all, determining whether there's the status of the individuals present on board. But due to unfortunate reasons, we were under fire before we could determine whether they are individuals or civilians or not. So that was not possible. Yes, that is the description of the attack.
Yes. Can you finally describe the relationship between the government of Utopia and CFC?
Like I said, the government of Utopia and CFC, pursuant to the contractual obligation, CFC had to be the they managed the border management security of Utopia, and were also managing the offshore processing centers where the refugees were kept. So this was the role of CFC, and also one of the clear direction from the government to the CFC was all the orders, all the instructions have to be followed by all the people present in CFC. And if they were not followed, the result was a criminal liability in case.
Okay. Your Lordship, let's conclude the chief examination. Thank you.
Counsel for prosecution may now begin with the cross-examination of the defense witness. Counsel seeks permission for
The counsel seeks permission to begin the cross-examination. Mr. Harper, you were directly working with Ms. Jean Grey at the CFC, is that correct?
So if I have to answer this question, I will say that I was one of the officers in the licensing and the communication department, which was headed by Mrs. Jean Grey. So she was my superior.
All right. You remained on the CFC's payroll until 2025, is that correct?
Yes.
And then you were given a position in the state.
Sorry?
And then you were given a position in the state.
Yes. Currently, I'm a cabinet ministry, a secretariat of the Utopian government.
All right. You understand that if Ms. Jean Grey is convicted, the company's future and your integrity, especially in your current position, are at risk. Is that correct?
I'll not state like that, because that clearly means that I'm here to support by stating that Mrs. Jean Grey is not liable because of something that will happen to me. Whatever I'm stating is pursuant to the fact that I was present during the time this happened. I was present in the headquarters where Ms. Jean Grey was there. So that was a statement.
All right. Before testifying, did you take the permission from the state of Utopia today?
Sorry?
Did you take this permission from the state of Utopia today before testifying before this court?
Yes.
All right. Can you describe the working of the CFC? How were decisions taken there?
So CFC had, like I mentioned about the directors, I'll come to the departments of the CFC. So CFC had a lot of departments, one being the licensing and the communication department. It had IT department.
How was the decision-making process done?
The decision-making process was, every department was headed by one of the directors and other senior officers. So the information between the departments was also very confidential to the limit prescribed by the government authorities.
All right. So they had the power of saying no, but to the limit prescribed by the government. Is that correct?
Council say no to what?
To any decision.
Who had the
The
Can you
directors.
rephrase the question?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Did the directors have a power of saying no?
No, absolutely not. They do not have the power. Like I mentioned, CFC, all the people in CFC, they were obligated to follow the instructions, and if not, was met with criminal sanctions.
Absolutely. But wasn't CFC a private contractor? Why were they obligated to follow all the orders of the state and not just break away the contract?
See, I cannot exactly mention all the obligations of the contract, but as they were contracted by the government, that was the pursuant act.
All right. You mentioned in your deposition that Ms. Grey had the power of saying no. She had the power of saying no. Did
Yes,
she?
so I will explain this thing. So Mrs. Jean Grey possessed one special power, that was the power to cast a negative vote. But there was a limitation to this. How can she cast a negative vote? Only in situations where the critical investment of the company are at stake. So for example, if CFC had a investment in terms of infrastructure or finances, and any decision was taken and affected the future of this investment, then she can cast a negative vote.
Witness, did she exercise this power when the Starship decision was being taken?
That was the exact reason I explained the negative vote power.
I want answer in yes or no.
Absolutely not. The power was not conferred to that limit.
She did not.
The
Did
power
you-
was not conferred to that limit.
Absolutely. Did you advise her to not take the action?
I'm sorry?
You were her subordinate, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
you were following the orders given by her.
As part of the licensing, and yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So when she transferred the orders, did you ever object to the lawfulness of these orders?
Which specific order are you talking
The
about?
Starship order.
So like I already mentioned, the first decision that was took within CFC pursuant to a voting of all the 4 directors was to first determine the status of people on board. And when we came under fire, there was no other option. So I won't say it was a immoral order.
All right. Was Ms. Jean Grey in the operational command of the Starship incident?
I was not.
Was Ms. Jean Grey in the operational command of the Starship incident?
No, not exactly.
What command did she have?
She only had the authority of licensing, only communications between the government and the field operatives present during that day.
All right. Are you aware of the weapons that were used in this Starship incident?
I'm not exactly aware of that weapons.
You're not aware of them. They were not told to you?
No.
All right. As a part of the licensing committee, you were not told?
Like I said, there are certain directives of confidentiality within the corporation.
All right. Are you aware of the number of people who died the other day on the Starship incident?
In reports, I have heard about 22.
Which
24.
reports are these?
The reports of the media outlets.
All right. So CFC never created a report of its own or never All right. And did you provide any aid to the victims? Did you provide any help to the victims after they suffered?
So we were given a particular instruction that pursuant to the attack, we were directed to take them into one of the offshore facilities created by the government.
All right. And what was the offshore, what was so threatening or secretive about the nature of the offshore facility that you were provided state immunity there?
I'm not aware of this fact.
You were not provided state immunity. Are you saying that?
No, I'm not saying that I'm not provided safe.
Were you provided state immunity?
Yes.
Why?
That is a confidential question.
All right. All right. You helped with the coordination of the mission as a communication department, right? So what technology did you use to ascertain that where there were civilians on the deck or not?
Radio mechanisms.
Radio mechanisms. Yet you could not find any civilians there. Is that what you're trying to say?
Like I said, we were not given the opportunity to even inspect whether they were civilians or not. We were fired first.
Without opportunity, you were allowed to open fire. Is that what you're trying to say?
If someone is firing us and our men are under threat and we had the orders to protect the national security of the nation, then...
This is my last question, witness. What were the orders and where were they written?
It was not audible. Can you repeat?
What were the orders and where were they written?
So the orders were communicated because the time management was an issue. So at that time, there was no proper...
So there were no written orders, correct?
No.
All right. Thank you. That is all. Thank you, Counsel.
The counsel seeks permission to begin with the cross-examination. Much obliged, Your Honor. Greetings, Mr. Harper.
Thank you.
What role did you entail in CFC?
So as I mentioned, my role was, I was a part of the licensing and the communication department. So my role was limited to that.
Your role was limited to the licensing department. All right. You also stated that there was a resolution passed by the board of directors. Am I right?
Can you be more specific which resolution?
All right. With respect to the identity of the civilians on board, or rather the people on board, there was a resolution passed. Am I right?
Yes, we got the information from the government authorities on that day that there were high chances of, there was a high chance probability of them being armed operatives.
High probability. All right. Point to be noted. Further, your role is only in the license department. How are you so aware of the resolution or the meeting that the board of directors had?
So first of all, I was part of the licensing department, which was headed by one of the directors, that was Mrs. Jean Grey. So she was also the head of this department. So it was communicated to me, and I was also physically
this-
present on the headquarters that day.
You were present at the headquarters, but not at the meeting.
Which specific meeting?
The meeting between the board of directors.
No, I witnessed the voting process.
All right. You also mentioned that there's confidentiality between the departments, yet for a voting process, a normal employee of the license department was
I was first of all, I'll clear the fact that I was not a normal employee. I was given a senior post in my in the department that I worked in, and the confidentiality was to the part that the working of each department cannot be directed towards each other, and there were some limitations and there were some directions regarding the confidentiality.
All right, then if I am right, another department directed to use the said weaponry and not Jean Grey.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
The communication of using the weaponry should have ideally been done by another department then.
The weapon, first of all, the directive was to make sure that to contain the ship, and for that the mercenaries were sent out. Regarding the weaponry, yes, that was the other department.
All right, so in Jean Grey completely taking authority in stating that she asked her people to board the ship, she did not know what weaponry they were going to use.
First of all, she did not take complete authority as a listener. She only directed what was being directed to her, and the weaponry, the weaponry did not come to the mercenaries on that point of time. They had the weapons before boarding the ship as well. So how will she be aware of what kind of weapons they carried that day?
All right. May I ask what procedure did Ms. Jean Grey ask the combatants to follow?
So the procedure was very clear, and the procedure was established in the voting system. The procedure was to first determine the status of people on board. So that was the procedure. But before executing the procedure, they fired on us.
All right. So once the ship was boarded, was there any attempts to fulfill the said procedure made?
If there would not have been any attempts, all 75 people would have been killed.
So the combatants knew that there were civilians in that starship.
See, they were not, like I said, after the incident, we came to note there were some civilians. Everyone was not a civilian present on that starship.
Point to be noted, Your Honor. So, if I may also reiterate, this information that there were civilians on the board was communicated to Jean Grey as well.
No, the information that we got before this entire attack happened from the government authority was there was a high probable chance that they were armed operatives, and we needed to confirm that to 100% extent. That is why the voting process was happened to verify the status of people on board, but we couldn't execute that because we came under fire first.
You mentioned that once there was boarded, the segregation was made, which resulted in all individuals not being fired at. I agree. But you're also stating that this information was not conveyed. All right. Were you aware of the fact that advanced machinery was used? Yes or no?
I'm not aware about any nature of the weapons.
All right. Here, who are you representing in this present case?
Sorry?
Who are you representing in this present case?
The defendant,
The defendant being?
Mrs. Jean Grey.
And what is your position or role in the utopian government?
Currently, I am a cabinet secretary, a civil servant of the Utopian government.
All right.
As I was present during the incidents of the attack, and as I was a former member, so my knowledge could be used by the honorable bench in this case.
All right. Could you also elaborate on if in the board meetings, ideally, is there any minutes or written records regarding the same?
I'm sorry, can you?
Is there any written records or minutes of the meetings which were conducted in establishing or in forwarding with the Starship incident?
Yes, there would have been.
Was any of it provided before this honorable court?
I'm not aware about that.
All right. Who trained the operatives who carried out the interception?
It was not our department.
Was it done by CFC?
Sorry?
Was it done by CFC?
I don't know if it was done by CFC, but the only information that I have is the weapons that were transmitted were from the Defense Ministry of Utopia.
But you clearly mentioned you don't know about the weapons, right?
Like I said, I don't know the exact nature of the weapons, but during the communications, I'm aware of the fact that the Defense Ministry itself authorized these weapons.
So the idea of confidentiality falls there between the departments. All right. Do you agree that Ms. Gray would have objected if she found out the order was unlawful?
Yes, she would have.
So after knowing that there were civilians on board, was there any steps taken by Ms. Jean Grey to ensure no further acts were done?
She did not knew there were civilians or not. The information that she got from the government authorities was there was a high probability that they would be armed operatives, and the step to confirm whether it was the armed operatives or not were taken by her, but she could not execute it because we came under fire first.
So the procedure was not executed at the end of the day, correct? All right, just no further questions, Your Honor.
It was an honor testifying before your lordship.
The counsel seeks permission to present their closing remarks. For too long, the victims of crime have been the forgotten persons of our criminal justice system. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. This case stands at the intersection of power and accountability. Jean Grey was not a confused officer in the fog of war. She was the executive director of CFC, a private military entity operating within the resources and authority of the utopian state. Every act, every order, and every silence of hers was deliberate. The evidence has been consistent. Ms. Grey authorized the interception of the Starship mission. She was reckless and negligent and did not confirm through her review the intelligence identifying the Starship as an overcrowded humanitarian vessel. She had the tools to watch people on the deck, yet she chose to omit them. In international humanitarian law, Your Honors, a civilian is defined as any person who is not a member of the armed forces or party to the conflict. Civilians are thus protected from direct attack and the effect of hostilities. In this particular case, Your Honors, it is further pertinent to notice civilians are presumed not to be directly participating in hostilities, and so they are protected unless they are actively engaged in fighting, the keyword being actively engaged. In the present case, however, there was no return fire or militia actions from the side of the Starship, and there was no active fighting. The defense has invoked self-defense and mistake. Yet, Article 31 requires imminent threat and proportionate response. There was neither. No shots from the Starship.
One of the victim witnesses
Yes, sir.
has admitted that some shots were fired from the Starship. So if the Starship has fired the first shots, can they still claim non-combatant status?
Absolutely, sir, because the shots were first not fired on the people at the CFC. They were fired in the open air to give warning shots. It's clearly written that they gave warning shots. Secondly, they did not engage in a combat tactic afterwards. There was no return fire.
Yes, but they indicated that they were armed and they were ready to defend themselves.
Absolutely. This also goes in Article 31, where it also says that it is only the civilian status is temporarily lost, not permanently. So when they were not firing back, their civilian status still remained intact. If the Excellencies allow, may I proceed? So there was neither. The civilians were seeking safety, yet Ms. Jean Grey continued her attack, demonstrating dolus specialis, which is specific intent and awareness of her actions, which formed part of a widespread and systematic campaign of illegal detention and inhumane treatment. Now, Your Honors, I would like to come back to the testimonies. Through the investigation of Mr. Lawrence Snyder, it is clear he confirms that no efforts were ever made to ascertain the civilian status of the people on the starship. Moreover, destructive weapons of mass destruction were used, and the firing continued even after seeing the people dying. He further confirmed that Ms. Jean Grey diverted from the prescribed orders, showing her mens rea. We also saw through the testimony of prosecution witness to Ms. Amilda Smith that Ms. Jean Grey was involved in using corporate funds to purchase destructive weapons. Properties of refugees were expropriated and distributed among the CFC's armed squads. Let us move on to the cross-investigation of victim witness 1, which is Mr. Chen Mingzi. He clearly said that weapons of prohibited nature under the Hague Regulation 1899 were used. Secondly, procurement of such weapons is difficult and cannot be done without premeditation. So, they form a part of systematic plan. Third, no one would use such mass destruction weapons for defense. They clearly indicate intentional targeting of a crowded deck of unarmed persons. Moving further through the cross-investigation of victim witness 2, he clearly said there were only civilians, women, children and elderly. They could clearly see the attacking ships, and so the attackers were also able to see the civilians on board. The victim witness said, and I quote, they were well known who they were attacking. Third point, Your Honors, after the cries and requests of the civilians on board, the firing still continued. The witness also identified the CFC insignia and weapons. The victims were tortured on board as well as taken to someplace else. Further moving to the argument given by defense witness Jean Grey. Not only were the defense arguments concealing facts and misleading the court by saying that the starship was found in utopian maritime boundary when it was clearly found in the international waters, but they also had absolute disregard for the procedures of interception and called killing of 24 people and injuring 47 people as mere containing and standard procedure when it was clearly not. They also provided false testimonies beyond their compromise. Thirdly, they suffered no injury, yet they said that they had suffered injuries. There is nowhere mention of this in the compromise. Again, a misleading fact, Your Honors. Fourth, no clear methods were made to ascertain that whether there were civilians on the board or not, and yet they still ordered killing, ascribing both to mens rea and specialist dolus. They did not have any written orders to prove their actions. There was no formal communication. It was just done on the basis of their own whims and fancies. Another point, Your Honors, they further made no inquiry post the deaths and did not provide any aid to the victim, clearly showing malice. Further, in accruance to this, David Harper, the defense witness too, said that they did not make sure of the civilian nature of the people, again confirming the point. There was further no internal inquiry set to understand the gravity of the situation. They relied on mere news reports. Secondly, as a current state employee and a cabinet secretary, he took the permission from the state, showing a coordinated pattern between the state and the CFC. There were also multiple inconsistencies in his testimony, thus again misleading the honorable bench. He also said that there was miscommunication between the directors also, which was not the part of the compromise. He further agreed to having received state immunity for his work at Blackhall, which he could not define. Your Honors, what is important here is that the Rome Statute protects those with no weapons, no uniforms, and no voice. The victims of Starship believed that the sea would give them refuge. Instead, it became their grave. As a conclusion, I would seek that neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. The opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. Thank you, Your Honors.
The council seeks permission to proceed with the closing statements. Much obliged, Your Honor. They boarded the ship carrying nothing but hope. And what that ended that night, even that hope and even anything that taken from them. This case began with a promise. The promise that the law would protect the powerless, that human life would not be weighed against corporate profit, and that power, even in the hands of the mighty, remained answerable to justice. On January 5th, 2024, that promise was broken aboard the Starship. What unfolded was not a lawful security operation. It was a deliberate act of violence against civilians, unarmed refugees, aid workers, and ordinary families seeking sanctuary. They were not combatants, they were human beings. They were met with hollow point bullets and fleshed shells, weapons whose only purpose is to multiply pain. Your Honor, if Your Honors may permit, I would like to read the provision of Article 8, Clause 2, Clause B, Clause 3 of the Rome Statute, which clearly states that intentionally directing attacks against personnel, installations, materials, units or vehicles involved in humanitarian assistance or peacekeeping in accordance with the Charter of the United Nations. Here, Your Honor, through the cross-examinations, it is clearly laid down that there was a deliberate attack on the vessel where unarmed civilians were boarded. Further, under Article 8, Clause 2, Clause B, Clause 9, it was clearly stated that employing weapons, projectiles and materials and methods of warfare which are nature causes superfluous injury and unnecessary suffering or which are inherently discriminate. Your Honor, to be proving the same, I would like to place reliance on the on the points which were laid down through the cross-examination. Firstly, PW Witness 1, Lawrence Snyder. He stated that there was only some strong possibility that there could be combatants, but this possibility was not confirmed. Hence, there was no clear direction as to whether if there were combatants or civilians on board, and there was no procedure laid down or which followed, which established the identity of the people on board. Further, in the witness statement itself, it had stated that whatever weaponry was used caused injury to the victims and what followed was not standard procedure. Further, in the autopsy report which was presented to by the witness also clearly stated indiscriminate pain and suffering which does not give any military advantage in this present scenario. Your Honor, further, through PW Witness 2, Amilda Smith, it was clearly laid down that in the name of nationalism, Jean Grey took drastic steps. Jean Grey completely orchestrated this crime and took steps in attacking these unarmed civilians on board. Further, they also established that they had access to weaponry which establishes widespread attack. Further, the weapons which were used, as the legal consultant established that the weapons which were used or found to be used was in violation of the authorized weapons which are authorized to be used under such a situation. Further, they also stated that the reason for CFC and the negotiation was the unrest between the two countries, which established that there has been a civil unrest and there can be attacks. Further on, through the cross-examination of the defense, it was clearly laid down that the government and everyone reinstated that there was a war-like situation which fulfills the criteria of war crimes and the present actions come under the realm of war crimes. Further, it is stated by the defense witness in itself that Jean Grey had ordered the said men to board the ship and no procedure was followed. Further, through the victim statements, it was clearly laid down that they were not given any medical aid and were subjected to inhuman practices and were subjected to torture, which is corroborated by the post-mortem reports on the bodies of the victim. Your Honor, I would also like to place reliance in the case of Prosecution versus Ignace, wherein it is clearly laid down that the presence of certain combatants will not negate the fact that majority are civilians. Here in this case, even if we are to consider that there were certain combatants, the majority of the people on board were civilians, which completely considers the entire situation as a civilian attack on the same. Further, under Prosecutor versus Kodrick and Mario, it was clearly stated down that torture is not just physical pain. Here, there existed physical and mental pain on the victims aboard the Starship, Your Honor.
Yes, just one question to you.
Indeed, Your Honor.
You have stated in great detail about the unlawful weapons which were used,
Indeed,
prohibited
Your Honor.
weapons,
Indeed, Your Honor.
and how civilians were attacked.
Indeed, Your Honor.
But the question which the defense witnesses have given is that they were acting under orders. They did not have the authority. And do you recall the ICC judgment in the Bemba case where the court held that he was acquitted on the ground of that he did not have the full authority to order the offences which had been committed, although the commission of the offences was admitted, but the court held that the prosecution did not establish the link between those offences and the accused.
Indeed, yeah. If I may answer that question in 2 points. Firstly, the weaponry which was used was unauthorized weaponry and no state is permitted to use the same.
How do you link Ms. Jean with this? If something had happened unfortunate.
Indeed, Your Honor.
It says, what is the evidence linking her with this case?
Indeed, Your Honor, under the witness statements in itself, Ms. Jean has stated that she was the one who ordered these, the men to board the Starship and further have the attack on the same. Further, Your Honor, if I may also rely on the procedure which was followed by CFC, they had a procedure wherein the board of directors had decided to do the same. So here in this case, Jean Grey held individual responsibility as a superior who commanded these men into attacking of the Starship. There was no official government order or any official government communication which directed Jean Grey. Further, to substantiate on the same, the contract between CFC and the government of Utopia does not entail her authorization in performing the said task. It was only for screening and refugee purposes. But the said task which was done was out of the scope. And the procedure which was laid down by the police force as well was not followed in this present scenario. Hence, if I may proceed with the concluding statement, we therefore urge this Honorable Court to affirm the victim standing under Article 68 Clause 3. Further, recognize the Starship assault and subsequent act at Blackhall at war crimes under Article 8 Clause 2 Clause A Clause 1 and Article 8 Clause B Clause 9. Further, find Jean Grey individually responsible under Article 25 Clause 3 and Article 28 Clause B, all of which is most humbly submitted before this Honorable Bench. Indeed, Your Honor.
You mentioned that victim witness has testified that the victims were tortured.
Indeed, Your Honor.
I could not see where this statement was made. I could not see this particular statement in the testimony.
Your Honor, could you just repeat the...
Where is the evidence of torture there in the evidence that you have produced?
Indeed, Your Honor. In the victim statement in itself, they had stated that she had witnessed people being shot at and there was simulated drowning as well. If I may place reliance on a precedent which was laid down by this Honorable Court under para 474 in the case of Prosecutor versus Kodrick, it was stated that torture can be regarded as physical or mental pain or suffering. Here in this case, there was both physical and mental pain and suffering which was entailed by the victim.
That's okay, I've understood. So I just wanted to know, was there any incident of torture
Indeed.
other than the fact that the way they were killed itself was torturous?
Indeed, Your Honor.
This is what you meant.
Further, with the same, after the Starship, immediately they were taken to the Blackhall, where they were subjected to extreme conditions, which was given in the witness statements and in the Moot compromise in itself, where they were subjected to situations wherein they were not given any medical aid, or they were subjected to situations of humiliation as well.
Very well, very well. You take your point.
All right. It was indeed an honor arguing before this one.
counsel seeks permission to start with the closing statement. Your Lordships, as my co-counsel has already stated what the charges are against the defense, this counsel seeks permission of this court to summarize the testimonies of the witnesses and to disprove their credibility and that they were not able to prove anything which is beyond reasonable doubt. Your Lordships, the defense submission is that under Article 66 of the Rome Statute, it is the burden of proof is on the defense, burden of proof is on the prosecution and the victims to state that all the charges are proven beyond reasonable doubt. Your Lordships, in the present case, what we submit is that the defendant was completely acting under the authority of the government of Utopia. We are not stating that the orders which were followed by the defendant or given by the defendant were illegal or unlawful, and hence the mens rea of the defendant should not it cannot be proved beyond reasonable doubt by the victim or the prosecution. Your Lordships, referring to Article 33 of the Rome Statute, there are two major exceptions which state that if these exceptions are followed, the defendant should not be held liable under any charge under the Rome Statute. The two major exception or element of these Article 33 is the first, that the acts which are alleged to be committed should be committed under a lawful authority of the government or any other party which is a superior. The second is that there should be a legal obligation of the defendant to follow that. So, Lordships, we submit that in the present case, the defense witness too has already stated that they had no choice or no authority to make any order. They were basically acting as the defendant was merely acting as a bridge. The defense witness too has already stated that they were the licensing officer in the present case. They did not have a proper authority in the case. There was a loop in which the defendant was communicating about the incident to the government and merely following the instruction of the government and then imposing the instructions on the commander, Your Lordships. So this establishes a chain of event that there was a superior authority which was the government of Utopia, and then the defendant was just a licensing officer who was merely instructing her commanders to do the act.
Under the Rome Statute,
yes, Lordships,
what are the conditions under which the defense of superior orders will be upheld? What are those conditions?
Your Lordship, there are two major conditions: that there should be a superior and subordinate relationships, and that second is that the order which is basically followed should not be manifestly unlawful. Your Lordship, the manifestly unlawful basically here means that the order should not.
You have mentioned 3 points. What is the relationship between these 3 points?
Your Lordships, here what we contend is that the defendant was merely acting on behalf of the government of Utopia, and hence why we are
superior orders can be invoked as a defense only if all the 3 elements are present, not one of them.
Yes.
If you have a cumulative effect only.
Yes, Your Lordships, what we are stating is the first element about superior and subordinate.
Last condition is the order was not manifestly unlawful.
Yes, Your Lordship.
So if they are ordered to use weapons which are prohibited,
yes,
they know that it's an unlawful order.
Your Lordships, here there is no order, there is no statement by the victim or by the prosecution which specifically states that they have heard or they have seen the defendant state to their agents to either attack the starship or to kill anyone or to make torture. None of these statements have been heard by anyone from the prosecution witnesses or the victim witnesses. What they are stating that they are basically making an assumption that as the defendant was basically acting as a commander, she must have issued the order, and the incident which has happened is based on her order. But there is no clear understanding or clear proof which states that the order were manifestly unlawful, even upon relying upon the orders of the government, which was that.
Then who provided those illegal weapons to these soldiers or the CFC personnel?
Your Lordships, we are.
It is a CFC. Obviously.
Yes.
Soldiers don't buy their own weapons or ammunition.
Yeah, the weapons which were given to the CFC were given by the government. But what we are stating is that the weapons which they have stated that we have used flechette shells or expanding bullet. Your Lordship, there is not a single proof in the compromise which clarifies specifically that the use of these weapons has happened. They have relied upon annexure, they have relied upon the testimony of the victim witnesses. But the victim witness herself is part of Rivendell government, and which is the party to this particular trial. So we cannot rely upon that statement, Your Lordships.
CFC
Yes, Your Lordships.
What is the nature of relationship? Is one superior or inferior, or is a contract between the two parties?
There was a contract between the two parties, Your Lordships, but here the defendant was completely acting like a subordinate here.
So you can't say that Utopia is superior, or you see normally the concept of superiority comes in the hierarchy, in the rank. I'm a soldier, my captain tells fire at him, I am bound.
Yes, Lordships.
But when the two they were engaged as per you for keeping the experts for visa as a formality. So there was no concept of superiority. It's a contract. You can come and say, sorry, I don't accept a contract. Go, I'm breaking it. So is there element of superiority? Where do you get the superiority as a defense?
Your Lordships, here there is one element which they are not able to prove beyond reasonable doubt. That is mens rea, and that the orders which were given by the defendant were manifestly unlawful. There was no order which was given by the defendant.
Things speak for themselves.
Yes, Lordship.
This nature of transaction, 21 to dead, 47 injured, arrest but taken. What does it mean? What does it speak for?
But Your Lordships,
for this.
yes, but Your Lordships, it is. How can we determine that it was the defendant who has specifically told her?
Well, that's
Yes.
whether how Jean is responsible.
Yes, Lordship, that is what we are contending here. That there is no conclusive proof that the defendant should be held liable because of any command or anything. Yes, Your Lordships. The defendant here, there are certain facts which I would like to state here. Defendant was not present at the site of the incident. Defendant is one of the 4 directors of the CFC, not even the superior authority in the CFC. Defendant had only one function, which was to liaison between the instruction of the government of Utopia and her commanders. So, Your Lordships, here we cannot directly presume that the actions which happened were under the authority of defendant only. Here, they are simply not, they were not able to verify, or they were not able to prove this beyond reasonable doubt that the commands which were issued by the defendant were unlawful. The defendant merely stated in the defense statement itself, Your Lordships.
The judgment given you indication that transaction is unfortunate, but the person who was sought to be nailed, that was acquitted for lack of connectivity.
Yes, Lordships, the defendant, there is no proof which states the defendant has specified or told her agents to kill anyone or to do any kind of torturous activity. That is our submission in this regards. Now, Your Lordships, I will be questioning the credibility of the witnesses here. So, starting with the prosecution witness 1. Prosecution witness 1, when asked whether the defendant told her men to follow any kind of protocols which was stated, the prosecution witness 1 specifically stated no. But in the first paragraph or statement, she stated that the defendant was one of the person who emphasized again and again to her men to follow follow the military protocols. So this is contradicting her statement. Now, second thing, of the prosecution witness 2 herself. The prosecution witness 2 has stated that she has relied on 2 major evidences here. The first is the flechette shells and the bullets which are used on basis of autopsy report, and the second is the testimonies of the survivors. And when stated, you actually rely on the testimony of the survivors. Your Lordships, just 2 minutes to conclude all this. Thank you, Lordships. Yes, do you really refer to the testimony of the survivor to conclude all this? They stated yes. They themselves have stated that the survivors were not even willing to say anything. How can they rely on the testimonies then? This contradicts this questions their reliability. Moving on to the prosecution witness 2. Prosecution witness 2, we contend that all the things which she said is mere hearsay. There is no evidence, there is no documented proof which can actually justify or actually state that the contentions which they have made are real. She attended the meetings and she has stated everything on basis of the meetings. That is it. That is the contention. So how can we rely on the same? The next thing, the next witness, victim witness 1. Your Lordships, the victim witness 1 is also not credible and irrelevant in this particular scenario, because they have actually stated a lot of things, legal analysis of the weapons which were used and the state of Starship. But they failed to connect the relation of these alleged weapons which were used in the present case with the actions of the defendant. Not a single proof they have given that these weapons are used, were commanded under defendant, or were basically on the basis of the defendant's acts. They have not stated it. They cannot connect this. And the last thing is, the last witness, Your Lordships, victim witness 2. Your Lordship, victim witness 2, we question the authority of victim witness 2 to come here. They have not even revealed their identity. They say that they were survivor. How can we believe? How can this court believe that they were present on this incident or the ship? Also to question that they were actually not present on the ship. Your lordships may refer to.
That witness does not say about Ms. Jean for herself is possible. She has said nothing on that. She only narrated the incident of that day.
Yes, your lordship.
Torture,
Also to
suffering, killing.
yes, to more question her involvement in this particular scenario, your lordships may refer page. Yes, page number 7, your lordships, with paragraph number 27. In this statement, in here, I will read this for your lordships. Following the violent interception, the surviving individuals were forcibly transported to a facility known as Black Hole. Here, the surviving incident, here it is not stated that some of the people escaped or some of the people were forcibly transported. The surviving individual, she survived here. That's why she is here. And she is stating that she escaped somehow. So how, this is questioning the facts itself. So here, your lordships, they are not able to prove things beyond reasonable doubt, the man's here beyond reasonable doubt. That is our humble submission, your lordships. That concludes our closing statement. With the prayer, I would like to conclude.
Thank
you, lordships.
Long and short is acquittal.
Yes. Your lordships, we don't want to put blame on anyone. We are representing the defendant. We are simply saying that it is not her responsibility that she should be charged on the same. That is what we are contending.
I am not guilty, maybe I don't have to say that.
Your lordships, that's it. The prayer I would like to state. Wherefore, in the light of issues. Okay. Thank you, your lordships. Thank you.
Much obliged, Your Excellencies. The oral arguments have now concluded.
Out of 25, एक सेकंड, तो ये भी 100 हो जाएगा, ये 100 के हैं, 200 हो जाएगा टोटल. उसी सेम 25 या 25? तो therefore, ये 100 से 200 बनता है ना, फिर 25 each हो गए. इंडिविजुअल हो गया ना ये. ये सोनी है ना, ये 25 प्लस और फिर यहाँ में 200, तभी आप दे पाओगे.
वो टोटल अलग अलग करेंगे ना सबका.
I want to give her 15 marks out of 25. And I want to give her also 15. That makes 15, 30. Then it should be 100 here, it should be 100 here.
Hello. Hello.
From this 200 now.
Bluetooth mode. Paired.
Participants are professors and my dear LC2 family. On behalf of the Moot Court Society of Law Center 2 Faculty of Law, I welcome you all to the valedictory ceremony of the 9th SK PURI Memorial International Moot Court Competition, Justified 25. Yet another year, yet another success story, and we have successfully completed this particular year. First, I would like to congratulate all our teams on successfully participating in this event and making this event a grand success. For the students of Law Center 2, this event is not just another moot court competition, it is a feeling that unites us, feeling that brings us together, feeling which ensures that every student of Law Center 2 understands the integrity of public speaking, mooting, law, and all the other variants related to the legal field. Without further ado, I would now start the valedictory ceremony. First, I would request our dignitaries, honorable dignitaries, to please proceed for the lighting of the lamp and start the event with an auspicious note. Through this auspicious start, we seek the blessings of Ma Saraswati.
Ya kundetu tusharharadhavala, ya shubhravaspravruta, ya veena varadandavandita ya shveta padmasa
On this note, we have started our event with the blessings of Mata Saraswati. Now, to thank those without whose blessings, whose kind presence we cannot start this event, I would request Sachin Puri sir to please felicitate our chief guest, Honorable Justice Subramaniam Prasad sir, Justice, Delhi High Court. Can we have a huge round of applause? Thank you, sir. I would now request Professor Dr. Anupam Jha, sir, our Honorable Professor in charge of Law Center 2, to please felicitate our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Devinder Singh, sir, Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar National Law University of Sonipat. Can we have a huge round of applause? Thank you so much. May I now request Professor Dr. Vageshwari Deswal ma'am to felicitate our guest of honor, Mr. Rakesh Tiku sir, Senior Advocate, Delhi High Court. Huge round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Manisha ma'am to please felicitate Mr. Akshay Makhija sir, Senior Advocate. Huge round of applause, please. Thank you so much, ma'am. May I now request Praveen sir to please felicitate Mr. Uttam Dutt sir, Senior Advocate. Huge round of applause, please. Thank you so much, sir. May I now request Professor Dr. Ashutosh Acharya, sir, to please felicitate Professor Dr. Narinder Singh, sir. Can we have a huge round of applause, please? Thank you to all our dignitaries. May I now welcome Professor Dr. Anupam Jha, sir, Honorable Professor in charge of Law Center 2, to please give the welcome address.
Honorable Mr. Justice Subramaniam Prasad ji, Judge, High Court of Delhi, Professor Devinder Singh ji, Vice Chancellor, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar National Law University, Sonipat, Sri Rakesh Tikku ji, Senior Advocate, Delhi High Court, Sri Sachin Puri ji, Senior Advocate and Vice President of Delhi High Court Bar Association, Professor Vageshwari Deswal, Convener Moot Court Society, our most respected person of this evening, the wife of Mr. Surinder Puri ji, आपको नमस्कार. Our esteemed professors, Professor Kiran Gupta madam, Professor Mahavir Singh ji, Professor Gunjan Gupta madam, Professor in charge Campus Law Center, Dr. Narinder Singh ji, and I can see many distinguished alumni of Law Center 2 also, and I have just been informed that Sri Akshay Makhija ji is also our alumnus. Thanks for coming today. And distinguished guests of this evening, especially from the office of Sri Sachin Puri ji, Sri Praveen, Sri Bobby ji, and I forgot, but Manisha ji, who has been also around, I welcome all of you, and our distinguished Gaurav Puri ji, our distinguished faculty members of Moot Court Society and all other distinguished faculty members, participants, and the dignitaries. A very good evening to each of you. It's both an honor and privilege to stand before you today as the professor in charge of Law Center 2, extending a warm and heartfelt welcome to all on this auspicious occasion, the valedictory ceremony of 9th Late S.K. Puri International Moot Court Competition called Justified 25. Since its establishment of Law Center 2 in 71, it has upheld its reputation as one of the best institutions of the country regarding legal education, courtroom training, and imbibing constitutional ethos. Law Center 2 has produced distinguished members of the legal fraternity, members of academia, and policymakers. Some of the examples of our alumnus are Justice V.K. Rao, who is currently the judge of Delhi High Court, and some of the judges who have retired from Delhi High Court, Kailash Gambhir ji, S.N. Dhingra ji, B.D. Ahmed, Rajiv Shakdar ji, and some of the policy makers, Minister K.J. Alphonse, and some of the leaders like Sushil Gupta ji, Nalin Kohli ji, and there are many other advocates and judges who have been around also in this moot court competition and who could not make it in this moot court competition, but we will be delighted to host them any time when they feel to come here. As we embark on the valedictory session, it is notable to appreciate the hard work done by the Moot Court Society of Law Center 2, which boasts of more than 200 students. This society plays a pivotal role in shaping the practical legal acumen of students by organizing high-impact mooting events, workshops, interactive sessions throughout the year. These students bring laurels to the center by being awarded as Best Memorial Award in the National Moot Court Competition of University of North Bengal 2025, runners-up in the National Moot Court Competition, National Law School Ranchi 2024, second runner-up in the 3rd Amity National Trial Advocacy Tournament 2024, and high position in the Padu University Moot Court Competition. Law Center 2 collaborates with the Office of Senior Advocate and currently the Vice President of Delhi High Court Bar Association, Sri Sachin Puri ji, to organize this late S.K. Puri International Moot Court Competition called Justified 2025. This time, this competition witnessed the legal battles amongst 14 teams from the NCR region and 18 teams from other parts of our country. Last year, team from none other than the National Law University Sonipat had won the competition, and therefore this time we have tried to invite the Vice Chancellor of Sonipat National Law School. Today, we gather not only to bid farewell to a remarkable group of individuals, but also to celebrate their achievements, resilience, and the promising futures that await them. In the spirit of reflection, let us acknowledge the collective efforts, sacrifices, and triumphs that have brought us to this juncture. The journey we have undertaken together has been one of growth, camaraderie, and shared experiences. It's a moment to pause and appreciate the indomitable spirit that defines the participating teams. In the hallowed presence of our esteemed judges, who have dedicated their time and expertise to assess the legal acumen of our participants, we gather today to celebrate the accomplishments of these aspiring legal minds. Some of them might not have won. One team would be the winner of this moot court competition. Many teams could not win, but the spirit that you have showed, that must be saluted. कहते हैं 100 सवार ही गिरते हैं मैदान जंग में, वो तिफल क्या करे जो घुटनों के बल चले. तो आप सब यहाँ के विनर हैं. The journey of this moot court competition has been a testament to the dedication, resilience and passion exhibited by each participant. To all the dignitaries, distinguished guests, participating teams, organizers and sponsors here today, I extend my sincere gratitude for gracing this occasion with your presence. Your support and enthusiasm add immense value to the vibrant tapestry of this academic endeavor. To our all revered faculty members, whose guidance and support have been instrumental in shaping the future of these budding advocates, we express our heartfelt gratitude. Your commitment to nurturing legal excellence is truly commendable. This evening, we are honored to have distinguished guests among us, whose presence adds prestige to this momentous occasion. Your support and encouragement means a great deal to all of us. Allow me to introduce our honorable guests of this evening, Justice Subramaniam Prasad ji, who is a judge of Delhi High Court, but most important for us is that he is an alumnus of Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. He is a batch of 90 in CLC. With a stellar career marked by unwavering dedication to the principle of justice and an exceptional track record of legal accomplishments, Justice Subramaniam Prasad ji stands as a paragon of excellence in the legal profession and in the bench. He exemplifies leadership, advocacy, tirelessly working towards the enhancement of legal standards and the protection of legal rights. His tenure has been marked by initiatives aimed at fostering a collaborative legal community and upholding the highest standards of professionalism. We welcome you this evening, sir, to this Law Center too. Our guest of honor, Professor Devendra Singh ji, who is the Vice Chancellor of the Sonipat National Law School in the name of Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar ji. He has come from Sonipat and his presence today has marked the excellence that his vision has remained. His expertise on many legal issues and administration is the reason that he has been also the legal representative of the Punjab University, Chandigarh, when he was there. And his academic research is not only limited to Punjab University, but he remains actively engaged in many other educational institutions in different capacities. He is a member of IIPA, ICPS, Global Alliance of Justice Education, and he has truly rendered exemplary service to the students of Punjab University, and now he is in Sonipat National Law School. I welcome you, sir, today to Law Center. Mr. Rakesh Tikkuji is the senior advocate, and he is, I have heard that he is a great person. He helps anyone who comes to his chamber, and he is always there to help the Faculty of Law students. And I welcome you, sir, today, this evening to Law Center 2. You have also judged the finals of the moot court competition. Thank you very much today for coming. And our illustrious alumnus, Sri Sachin Puri ji. उनके बारे में मैं कम ही कह पाता हूँ वैसे, बट थोड़ा सा कहना पड़ता है, क्योंकि वो ऐसे पुत्र हैं जो किसी पिता या माता जी को कम ही मिलता है. लोग आते हैं और चले जाते हैं, बच्चे पढ़ते हैं और निकल जाते हैं। माता पिता भी कितने कितने बच्चों को पालते हैं, पोसते हैं, लेकिन पुत्र जो ऐसा होता है, पुत्र का मतलब है कि पुंग नाम नरकम, नरक जो है जिससे नरक से त्राण दिलवा दे, वो होता है पुत्र। त्रौ मतलब त्राण और पु मतलब पुंग, पुंग मीन्स नरक। तो जो नरक के रास्ते से त्राण करवा दे वो होता है असली पुत्र। तो आप माता जी, आपके ऐसे पुत्र हैं जो आज यहाँ पे हमारे सेंटर की शोभा बढ़ा रहे हैं। ये आपका बहुत बहुत आपकी कृपा है कि इस तरह के पुत्र को आपने जन्म दिया है। ये पुंग नाम नरकम तस्मात् त्रायते इति पुत्र, आप ऐसे पुत्र हैं जिसने सबको नरक का रास्ता छुड़ा के सबको स्वर्ग का रास्ता दिखा दिया। इस पुत्र को धन्यवाद। क्योंकि शिक्षक भी ऐसे होते हैं, शिक्षक के पास भी बहुत सारे विद्यार्थी आते हैं और चले जाते हैं, और माता पिता भी, सब माता पिता मतलब कि बच्चा होगा ही होगा। तो एक दुनिया में एक पिता माता ही ऐसे होते हैं और एक गुरु ही ऐसा होता है जो अपने शिष्य को अपने से ऊंचा बढ़ना देखना चाहता है। उसमें कहते हैं सर्वतो विजयम इच्छेत, ये उपनिषद का एक लाइन है। सर्वतो विजयम इच्छेत शिष्यात पुत्रात पराभवम। हम शिष्य से हार जाएं और पुत्र से हार जाएं तो हमें बड़ी खुशी मिलती है कि अरे वाह, आज मेरा दिन सफल हो गया कि मैं पुत्र से हार गया, मैं अपने शिष्य से हार गया। तो इस तरह के पुत्र जो आज पिताजी के स्मरण में पिछले 9 साल से हमारे लॉ सेंटर 2 के साथ कहते हैं कि नहीं, मैं सिर्फ आगे बढ़ गया तो वो मेरा रास्ता नहीं था, मैं अपने साथ अपने सेंटर को, अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन को और अपने साथ कितने सारे बच्चे, इनका जब इलेक्शन हुआ था वाइस प्रेसिडेंट का, हमारे कितने सारे बच्चे इनके साथ दिन रात एक करके जुटे रहे कि हमारा नेता कैसा हो, सचिन पुरी जी जैसा हो। तो इस तरह की बात हम करते हैं। आज के दिन हम सचिन पुरी जी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देते हैं, क्योंकि ऐसा होता है कि बड़ा होने से नहीं होता है। कहते हैं, कबीरदास जी ने कहा था, बड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ। बहुत लोग बड़े बनते हैं, बड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ, जैसे पेड़ खजूर, खजूर भी बड़ा होता है। पंथी को छाया नहीं और फल लागे अति दूर, इससे क्या फायदा। भाई ऐसे बनिए जिससे कि आप किसी को एक फल दीजिए। इन्होंने फल सिर्फ खुद ही नहीं खाया, बल्कि इन्होंने फल जो है मीठा मीठा फल सबको खिला रहे हैं। आज पिछले 3 दिन से फिर हम लोग भी खा रहे हैं, हर साल भी खाते हैं। सचिन जी, आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई हो और हम आपका बहुत तहे दिल से आपको बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हर साल करते हैं और हम हरदम करेंगे। और जैसे आपके पिताजी 6 बार, ही वॉज द ऑनरेरी सेक्रेटरी ऑफ द बार काउंसिल ऑफ दिल्ली फॉर 6 टर्म्स, मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि आप उनकी भी टर्म को 6 के बाद आप 12 बार बार काउंसिल के प्रेसिडेंट बने। वाइस प्रेसिडेंट तो है ही, आप 12 बार प्रेसिडेंट बने और हम आपके इस शोभा यात्रा में हम भी शरीक हों। So much of the blessings that you will get from Law Center 2. I thank you for organizing this moot court competition. With this, I once again extend a very warm welcome to each one of you. Let us cherish this moment and celebrate the achievements of late Sri S.K. Puri Moot Court Competition Justified 2025. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. I would like to share that it is because of sir's guidance, motivation and blessings that we as a society, we as a college are progressing every single day. And can we have a huge round of applause for sir? Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And now I would request none other than Sachin Puri, sir, senior advocate, to please address this august gathering. Can we have a huge round of applause for sir?
Sir, I'm aware of paucity of time. I'm going to be as short as possible, but forgive me, I must recognize every lawyer who has today made it. To the Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Mr. Justice Subramanian Prasad, Professor Saab, thank you for being here. Mr. Rakesh Tikku ji, who has taken out his time, Professor Devinder Singh ji, Professor Anuman Jha Saab, Dr. Deswal Van, thank you for being here. Sir, Mom, and of course Gaurav, Manisha, I'm sorry, I get emotional every year. So this moot court was started soon after my father's death. I had approached the Law Center too, and they were kind enough to collaborate with me to take this forward. This year, sir, we had 33 teams, and I must share these. Out of these, 2 were international teams, 31 was from India. And the important thing that I want to highlight is, sir, we had 190 volunteers from the Moot Court Society who have worked through to make this a success. 165 participants were here in last 3-4 days from all over to be part of this moot court. 15 faculty members, and sir, among senior advocates, district judicial officers, advocates and professors, as many as 125 of them were here to adjudicate this moot. In last 48 hours, teams have gone through various rounds, and the teams in the finals were going through their 5th round, each round lasting between 2.5 hours to 3.5 hours. This is the kind of efforts which have been made to make this moot court a success. There are a lot of lawyers today who are there, but before them I must also take this opportunity to thank the Moot Court Society headed by Gurdeep and her team, who have done a great job. I can't see where she is, and she has been in touch with us throughout, and without that it was not possible. She is the convener of the Moot Court Society. I must also acknowledge my own Professor Kiran ma'am, who's there. We studied. Thank you, ma'am. Even after retirement you take out time to come here. Ashutosh ji is the backbone of the moot court, and he has always been there day and night with us. I can't see him again in the hall right now, he must be doing something, but he has been there with us throughout, helping to organize this moot court and even taking some of our unacceptable requests and playing around with them. And of course we have Mahavir Singh ji, Pinky ma'am, who have again come over here. And among the lawyers, of course, I did not know, Akshay, you are my senior from college. I today got to know. Thank you so much for taking out time to adjudicate the finals. And thank you, Uttam, thank you so much for being here. On one call, everybody has been here and everybody has helped us. I must also, before I continue, inform everybody, our chief guest, on a request, has accommodated us at a very, very short notice, which was, I would say, it's just the kind of time and kind of the assignments they go through in a day which the judges have, and the time of paucity of time that had to take out so much time on a Sunday. Sir, thank you so much, and especially the moment I went to sir to invite him, he said, Sachin, I am coming. It is such a great feeling that we get with this kind of support. And of course we have Lakshay, Kritika, Kirti ma'am, Najma, Rahul, Kamil, Mati Bhaiya, Anil, Prem, Dhan Singh, Praveen, Garima, Surinder Sinha, whose book has been, also our alumni, whose book has been released on Friday, Sanjay, Priyam, Ashna, Mehak, Krishna, Sonu, Sahil, Prithvi, Sunil, Harsh, Fradeen, Ayushi, who has been covering our social media, Rishi, Gaurav of course is there. Thank you for being here once again. And Harshit is here. I probably missed out a couple. I'm sorry for that, and a special thank you to Manisha, without whom none of this was possible. I know this is not a vote of thanks, but I'm sorry, I'm acknowledging everyone because that really comes from my heart. And sir, thank you for coming for the finals as well. And I would not take more time, but I really wanted to thank each one of you for making this a grand success as every year. Before I close, I must say just one thing. So we are one of the premier moot courts in the country today with respect to cross-examination. But over a period of last 3 years, 3 days, and I spent the entire time in the university during these 3 days, and I love doing that, we had a lot of discussions and we realized something that was missing and how to take this to the next level. So we are going to attempt in the coming edition to actually record the cross-examination live when it is going on in a similar manner as it is done in courts. And we are going to take it from the memorial, and I hope that will be a better teaching curve for the students who will participate in the coming years. With this, thank you very much. Thank you for being here, and thank you for making it a success as always.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Sir has been a guiding force, a guiding light for all of us. And I would just like to highlight that sir did not watch out the clock before guiding the Moot Court Society. Sir was there with us till midnight, and he has always been there. Thank you so much, sir. Huge round of applause for Sachin, sir. Thank you, sir. And now, may I please invite our guest of honor, Mr. Rakesh Tikku, sir, Senior Advocate of Delhi High Court, to please address the august gathering. Huge round of applause.
Good evening, everybody. My seniors, I think I am the senior most, I guess. My colleagues, Justice Prasad, and all the dignitaries off the dais and on the dais. The invitation really revived in my memory, taking back to 1979, when I passed out in law faculty. And I'm not sure, because those days, the law we had, I remember correctly, about 350 odd students used to pass out each year. And out of 350, not more than 100 odd people would join the profession, both district level, high court level, Supreme Court level. But in today's world, we have, I think, almost more than 9-10 such colleges in NCR. You have a Center 2 now here. I mean, those days, Center 2 was, I think, one was in evening college, one was Dholakua, and another was somewhere in Mandir Marg. Now, those days as today, when I compare it, it's a different feeling. Now, yesterday I was also judging a moot court in Whips. It was 5 years course, and the participants were like, who was second year, third year. But seeing them articulating so well, crisp, precise, and my another colleague judge who was there, we were trying to probe them, and they were ready with the responses. That made me feel happy about it, that how undergone the things have changed. Those days, 79, many of us, I would say, would buy called Dukki. That was costing you 2 rupees there, and it was a ready-made answer to the questions. But today, with the technology, etc., all children are professionally serious and oriented, which gives a good sign, because those days, I remember, law course, I'm talking 76 I joined, it was not a first option for many of us to join. Because the lawyers as a community may be acceptability, there was not respectability. But today, thanks to media and exposure, there is now respectability also. I mean, people have become educated, affluence is a little higher compared to past. Everyone would need legal or the other assistant, one way or the other. So we are nearing to the comparison of a doctor, which was not 30 years back, 40 years back when I joined the profession. But it's good that I get revived seeing the faculty, seeing the young students here. And one thing I would like to add, I won't take long, moot court competition as such within the country or international, it could also be desirably a training ground for the students who are there. Maybe once in a month you can have separate teams. You need not call anyone else. Some other professor can be the judge. This gives them a flavor of what is going to be when they leave the profession. The college, they go to that whole process of preparing the draft, articulating, putting on a record, seeing the cross. Now today, I have been judged in many moot courts, but today for the first time I noted, here also the cross-examination itself was also a part of this. And that we were discussing with Uttam and Mr. Makija, how sharp these students are when we're putting questions to them. And we were just realizing that each question had a relevance. So good luck to all of you, and I hope this kind of thing continues for the future. Good luck and good day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I would like to say that the sharpness of students is because of the blessings of teachers, seniors, and leaders like you. So huge round of applause for sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now, may I please invite our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Devinder Singh, sir, the Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar National Law University of Sonipat. Can we have a huge round of applause, sir?
Honorable Chief Guest, Subramaniam Prasad ji, Tikku ji, Senior Advocate, Sachin ji, Sachin's mother, senior colleague sitting from the University, Delhi University. First and foremost, I congratulate Anupam Jha ji for working on the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. This is the level of competition nowadays, which has compelled the public universities to work on the Saturday and Sundays. And this is the new culture which is being started. The law course, which is considered earlier to be a time pass in the campus, but now it is a competitive one, and we know our value in the society as well. Because the dispute resolution is the challenge, and the moot court is one of the skill through which we have been achieving it in the last few decades. But now the new techniques has also come for the dispute resolutions. I hope other competitions are also part of the students' life, so they can contribute better in the life. It is difficult for the moot court society head to work, and 165 students are working. To accommodate 100 students and 50 judges, this is a difficult task. My message to the students is that whenever they come for such competitions, they learn many things. Not only the winning the competition, because I can see only around 10 trophies are here, but the competition is tough. 100 students participating, 10 are winning and 90 are knowing the competition only, that they are preparing for the future. This is the life nowadays in the law campuses. In the good institutions, good universities, it is difficult to take admissions. Yesterday only we have a CLAT meeting, 1 lakh students are appearing in the CLAT competition. And in the national law universities, not more than 3,000 seats are there. So we can understand the level of competition. So securing a seat in the law college, similar is the competition, I think, in the Delhi University itself. So in the Punjab University itself, 3,000 students appear, 300 take admission, and rest of the students take elsewhere. So taking admission in the knowing or national level institutions is difficult, and when you take the admission, then you have to participate in this kind of competitions. You have to be a part of such competitions. If you do not become a part of such competitions, then you know that in the profession, as and when you go, you will find competition only. So if you are skilled like this, if you are brought up like this, if your skills are sharpened in the institutions, and this is our responsibility in the institutions, we have been doing this. So soft skills are being learned to accommodate, to travel, and to adjust, and to digest the defeat itself on the dais itself. These are the skills which are the part and parcel of life, which will take the students far, far away and make them better professionals and better human beings in the future. Those who win the competition today, this is not the last or first competition they have been winning. This is just a beginning of this. And those who are part of this, seeing the winning students that they have won, they could not won. It is a better part of them. We always remember the icon of this nation, that is Swami Vivekananda. This is all journey of the education that we are exploring, and students exploring themselves what is already being manifested in them. So all your manifestations shall be explored in the education institutions. That is being our endeavor. So with these few motivational words to the student, I am sitting nearby in the Sonipat, always available for the students and all that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. As rightly said by sir, it's either winning or learning. There's nothing called failure. Huge round of applause for sir. Thank you, sir. And now may I request everyone to please stand in respect as I welcome the chief guest of this valedictory session, Honorable Justice Subramaniam Prasad sir, Justice of Honorable Delhi High Court.
Dr. Devendra Singh, Vice Chancellor of the Ambedkar Law University. Dr. Anupam Jha, Professor in charge of Campus Law Center 2. Mr. Rakesh Tukku, Senior Advocate. Mrs. Puri, Sachin Puri, Senior Advocate. Mr. Gaurav Puri, sons of late S.K. Puri. Mr. Akshay Makhija, Senior Advocate. Mr. Uttam Dutt, Senior Advocate. Praveen, Advocate. Other advocates, students. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me for this prestigious competition. As Mr. Rakesh Tukku said, that of course he's much senior to us. For us, many of us, joining law was a process of elimination and not a matter of choice. And when we joined the Campus Law Center about 35 years back, mooting was at a very nascent stage. There were hardly a dozen moot court competitions. And when we passed out of Campus Law Center and we entered the profession, it was like somebody telling us, go jump in the water, in the deep. What does moot court help the students? Normally when we enter a room which is full of people and you have to hear your own voice, you get tongue-tied. Mooting first helps a person who is new in the profession to get over his initial hesitancy to start speaking. 2, it teaches a person to start thinking on his feet, which is necessary in our profession. 3, it teaches you to tackle a hostile opponent or a hostile court in a court atmosphere. 4, it teaches you to crisply communicate and put across your point to the judges. It develops articulation. A few might not be able to articulate properly, they are good drafters. So the researcher or the drafting expert in the team excels in his job, because it's not necessary that all of us might end up in being arguing counsels. Some of us develop in drafting. Mooting also is one of the places where you tend to develop that skill. So all in all, mooting comes as a whole package, and as Dr. Singh said, in this level of competition, to be head and shoulders above or ahead of your opponent does help you in forging ahead in this profession. Now, many of the students here would be in the 4th year or would be just entering into the profession. This mooting also helps in trying to be alive to the fact of the commitment, because for this profession, the hallmark is availability and dependability. And so students who are passing out, please remember, because many of the students and the first
the first generation lawyers who come out, they normally come with a complaint that we are left behind because certain of our peers are probably more fortunate than us, who come up with a legal background. So this mooting also helps you to get the confidence that you would be able to be successful in your life from wherever you begin. I therefore urge the teachers here to start to develop the skill more, to have more and more mooting competitions in various fields to equip the students to tackle various aspects of law. And thank you very much once again. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir's words are always an encouragement for us. His judgments are a precedent for us and a landmark to this great nation. Thank you so much, sir. Huge round of applause for our chief guest. Before we proceed, I would like to request Advocate Surinder Sinha, sir, at the Delhi High Court, who had recently launched his book on mediation. I would request him to present his book on mediation, Bridging Law and Conflict Resolution. This was launched very recently on Friday at the inaugural ceremony of the 9th S.K. Puri Memorial International Moot Court Competition. And this was in the presence of Honorable Justice V. Kameshwar Rao, sir. Can we have a huge round of applause for sir? And this book is being presented to the Honorable Chief Guest. Can we have a huge round of applause for sir? Thank you so much, sir. And now it's time for something that I guess all of us are equally waiting for. All of us are excited. It's time for the results. But it shouldn't come out from me. It should come out from the person who should do it. May I please call on the dais, Sachin Puri, sir, to announce the results and, give us an end to the curiosity. So over to you, sir.
Well, good evening again, everyone. Though I am at the dais, but I think the results haven't reached me yet. So I think we will have to wait for a moment or two. Sir, in order to save some time, can we first present the vote of thanks and then announce the results? With the permission of the chair, may I request Professor Dr. Deswal to present the vote of thanks, please.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. As we draw the curtains on this memorable event, as the convener of Moot Court Society of Law Center 2, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, it is my privilege and honor to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of our institution. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Justice Subramaniam Prasad, Judge, Delhi High Court, for gracing this event with your presence, for inspiring us with your words, and for motivating our young mooters to continue their pursuit of excellence in law and justice. A big hand for Justice Prasad, please. We are deeply thankful to our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Devinder Singh, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar National Law University, Sonipat, for accepting our request and sparing time out of his very demanding schedule to be here today with us and address our participants. Thank you, sir. My heartfelt thanks are also due to our guest of honor, Senior Advocate Mr. Rakesh Tikku, for taking time from your busy schedule to be with us here today, and for your valuable insights on the significance of mooting in shaping young minds. A big hand for him, please. A very special note of gratitude goes to our sponsor, Senior Advocate Sachin Puri, for whom this competition is not just an academic exercise. It's a tribute to the cherished memory of his late father, Shri S.K. Puri. Sir, your gesture of honoring your father through this event is profoundly moving. Through this competition, his spirit continues to inspire, to guide, and to bless not only you, but all of us. Thank you. A big hand for him. Our sincere thanks also go to our professor in charge, Professor Dr. Anupam Jha, for being our pillar of strength. Sir, your leadership has inspired both the organizers as well as the participants. From planning to execution, your presence has been a source of strength and reassurance to all of us. Thank you. I would also like to extend special appreciation to all our guests and the faculty coordinators, Dr. Ashutosh Acharya and my entire team, Dr. Santosh Upadhyay, Dr. Pramod Tiwari, Dr. Sumiti, Dr. Kisle, Dr. Mukesh Kalwani, Dr. Ajay Raj, and the student organizing committee and all the volunteers for their tireless efforts towards ensuring the smooth conduct of this event. A special word of appreciation goes to the drafter of our moot problem, Mr. Parth, whose creativity and legal insight gave life to this competition. Parth, are you there? Parth is not there.
Parth is not here.
Okay. The problem which he drafted challenged participants to think critically, argue persuasively, and engage deeply with the law. Without his contribution, the event would not have had the same intellectual depth and excitement. Our sincere thanks also go to Team S.K. Puri, Madam Sunila Puri, Advocates Sanjay Sharma, Mr. Praveen, and especially Madam Manisha for their support. Thank you to our distinguished judges who came from near and far to patiently preside over the rounds. Your insightful questions, fair evaluation, and valuable feedback have not only tested but also enriched the learning of every participant. Our thanks are also due to all the learned faculty members who meticulously evaluated the memorials. A special word of appreciation to all the participants and all the teams from across the country and also abroad. Your preparations, your arguments and professionalism have made this competition truly stimulating, whether you win or whether you lose. Your enthusiasm and commitment to the spirit of mooting are what makes this event meaningful. And we are also deeply indebted to our faculty coordinators, court masters, student organizers and volunteers. I have to name some of them. There is Gurdeep, there is Jayesh, Puru, Abhishek, Simardeep, Apar, Subheksha, Aniruddha Bali, Akash, Gaurav, Pushpak, Ashutosh, Aryan. I can't name all of you, but please a big round of applause to all our volunteers who worked tirelessly. Their tireless efforts behind the scenes have ensured that every round ran smoothly. Your dedication and teamwork have been truly the backbone of the successful event. Finally, to everyone who has joined us, all my respected colleagues, alumni and guests, thank you for your encouragement and presence, which has made this occasion even more memorable. As we conclude, let us remember that beyond the competition and awards, what we take back is the spirit of learning, the values of our mentors, and the legacy of those who continue to inspire us. Once again, thank you all. And now, the moment that we've all been waiting for, the results.
Can I request the distinguished guests to please join us for the presentation of the awards? I'll start with best witness. Sir, please. Sir, Avna. Sir, please. May I request our honorable chief guest to present the best witness award, which goes to Shivam Singhi from TC23. Gaurav, please join. Please join. Congratulations, Shivam. Also one of the finalists. The best speaker for advanced round goes to member of the team from TC08, Kashish Gupta. I would request Mr. Rakesh Tikku to present the award. Finals. I would request Kashish to stay because she is also the best speaker for the finals. The best memorial for victim goes to team TC25 NLU Bhopal. I think Bhopal had left, they got their certificate signed from me. Can someone else collect the award on their behalf, please? We move on, okay. The best memorial for defense goes to TC08, Amity University, Rajasthan, who also happened to be the finalists. Coming to the three big ones. Second runners up. I'm so sorry. The best prosecution goes to TC25 NLU Bhopal, who are again not present. So congratulations to them in absentia. The second runners up goes to TC11 Christ Bangalore. भाई ये बताओ फर्स्ट रनर्स अप पहले अनाउंस करना है कि विनर कर दूं सीधा? विनर कर दें और रनर्स अप को ट्रॉफी दे दें, चलेगा? Okay. So last two we are at. The winner for today's competition is TC23 Campus Law Center. Hold on please, just a moment. We will present to the runners up and then come back to you. Therefore the runners up is TC08 Amity University, Rajasthan. Amity also becomes probably the university taking maximum awards tonight. And for the presentation of the winners trophy, can I also have Uttam and Akshay join us? Professor Saab also, please, sir. Please join us. You had adjudicated. Now I call upon, and really you can't get a better person to get this award from than Honorable Mr. Justice Subramaniam Prasad. CLC to come forward. Champions of today, this edition.
With this, we come to the end of the 9th SK Puri Memorial International Moot Court Competition Justify 25. Congratulations to all our winners. Thank you so much to our dignitaries, our professors, dear participants, and every member of the Law Center 2 family. Now I would request you all to disperse for high tea at the backstairs of Umang Bhawan. Thank you so much and a very good evening. Thank you.